instances, but some things it's like this is fucking bananas. I just morally, it's impossible. It's just a
Mm.
mountain of shit, and I kind of are we live?
Yeah, now we are.
Okay, okay, yeah, so I just kind of feel like with some candidates, it's just like you
I
just
know.
kind of can't. It's just
I
so. But then again, this is on my own personal,
know. I know.
again, more ethics and
Mm-hmm.
and my morality going in right. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a goody goody two shoes. Like I said, I'll work with you, but at some point,
I
when
like
when the
golly.
pile and the mound of
Uh,
shit
like
just
like
stacks so
every
high,
day is something new with you, dog.
yes,
Like
yes, let's say
I know.
you got a dog, right?
Yeah.
you know, you come home from the day, the dog done shit it by the door. All right, fine, right? You can kind of clean it up. Then the next day, right? He shits a little bit more, and it's like, okay, well, what's his problem? He's shitting, and then at some point, months later, this fucking the door, like the area is just filled. At some point, you gotta be like, hey, this fucking dog gotta go. Like something's going. But it seems like to some people there is no end. Like it doesn't matter what people can do. It doesn't matter, and there's a lot that goes into this. There's identity politics. There's obviously race that plays a factor. There's gender that plays a factor. There's a lot of stuff that plays a factor. But I just said at some point, that mountain of shit just got so high. It's like, man, even if I want to, I couldn't. I can't even sleep at night knowing that the mountain and the mountain of shit that you created is just too much for me to fuck. I can't sweep it up. Right, I gotta
Yeah.
call somebody in here to fucking come and I gotta hire a company to come and clean this shit out. That's how I feel. You right, and
Okay.
and not
Yeah.
not saying that a person's enthusiastic about it's like it's not. Politics these days is just with both sides you're not excited. There's some things but at some point, you know some some shit over here with one candidate is bearable because it's just it's a fucking couple of turds. But this one here is like, fuck, I can't even get in the house because the shit is stacked so far to the ceiling. And that's how I see it. But I say there's a lot of people, they don't see it that way. And a lot of people don't have morality. A lot of people don't care about morality. Some people, one issue people. Some people only care about abortion. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Some people
Hmm.
only care about taxes, lowering taxes for them, and that's all that matters. And so it's not I don't think it's a right or wrong thing.
Yeah. It's
But since we got on the topics of morality,
yeah.
right, and ethics, that's a whole, like for example, you're a military guy, right? You're
Hmm.
a military guy.
Yeah.
You had to feel some way about people trying to overturn an election, storming the Capitol, and doing a lot of what you can call treasonous, right, against this country, against the nation, against what the flag stand for, against what you fought for. That stuff like that has to weigh on you in some
Hmm.
factor. I would think so. You being military, I'm not even military, and it kind of weighs on me,
Yeah.
but I just never understood. Or I don't know your feelings, and I don't know people who've been in the military or who are in the military now, like you are, that their feelings on that. And maybe there's a balance, maybe there's not. Maybe everyone thinks differently. I don't know. But what's your take on it?
Yeah. I will say this. I'll say this, right? And I know this is like 2 weeks in a row we're doing politics. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
go by
know.
quick. We're gonna go by quick, right? Because the
Yeah,
PlayStation
quick,
5
quick,
Pro is
quick.
killing it, right? I'll say
Fact.
this. I will say this in particular.
Yeah.
So the military, right? We all have an oath, to support and defend the
Mm-hmm.
Constitution of the United States, for foreign and domestic, and then we
Yep.
also have our, how would you say, innate obligation as a service
Mm-hmm.
member to get the mission done, right?
Yeah.
So when you read stories or news or just anything, you look back in history of like the men and women who serve and those who, many stories of soldiers and Marines, stories of Marines, soldiers that jump on a grenade, they literally put their body on top of a grenade and cover it so that way their body will absorb the impact in order to save the platoon or, to save their Marines or soldiers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Or service members that would run inside a room with gunfire, to
Mm-hmm.
pull out their Marines or their soldiers or whatever and drag them out they're getting shot themselves, but they have to drag their buddy out, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
their body's already dead, but they're not going to leave the dead body there. They're dragging it
Yeah.
out where they're dead, right?
Yeah.
So that mindset is based on, you know, you're not thinking about what's for you, right? Because when you think about it, you think about when a person makes a decision like that, right? They run to the sound
Hmm.
of gunfire, they jump on the grenade. Think about what they're sacrificing. They know
Yeah.
they're going to die. They're going to give up their life. Some of them were married. Um, they got kids, but they
Yeah.
forego all that. They made a decision that will result in them dying. Their kids are going to grow up without a parent. Their spouse is going to
Yeah.
grow up without their spouse. You know, their parents lose a child. Like it didn't matter. So all the
Yeah.
things with that decision, it didn't matter about them. It didn't matter about their life. It didn't even matter about their own kids. This had to be done for the greater good of the organization, the mission, and protecting their fellow service member. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the mindset. With that, when Trump lost in 2020, he made it about himself and not about the country,
Hmm.
right? He's like, oh, he demanded his vice president not to, to do his part, which is constitutionally he had to do it. He incited to the world, to the country, oh, I got cheated out and all this stuff. He made it about himself. Now, there's one thing everybody probably don't know. The present, the one, whoever, like Biden, when Biden won the presidency in 2020 November, he now becomes the president elect, right? That's what their term is. They're not the
Yeah.
president until January 21st, when inauguration day. So between that window, and that's like a 2 month window, right? Almost 2 months.
Yeah.
He needs access to all the information the president has in order for him or her to strategize their national strategy. Okay, so what normally would happen, I'll even go back further. When President Trump won the election in 2016, he became the president elect. He didn't officially become the president until January the following year.
January. Yeah.
During that time, President Obama has to sponsor him
Hmm.
because Obama's the president. So he
Yeah.
has the Yankee White clearance as the president. Trump doesn't. But President
Yeah.
Obama sponsors Trump, so that way, immediately as soon as Trump's ready, they can start
Yeah.
doing the turnover. President
Yeah.
Obama starts and his staff starts giving all the updated information, all the top secret information, right? And it gets passed over from one staff to another, so that way Trump and his cabinet can start preparing, right? So they start preparing for 2 months, right? Before
Hmm.
even Trump, whatever. Okay, so that's the changeover from one presidency to another, and you do that for the sake of the country because that's the new leader. So the president that was there has to pass over this information so the new president could do their job because the country needs
Yeah.
to be ready, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
start learning to be the president or getting ready on January 21st. Like, no, you got to start. Here's the turnover. My staff is going to talk to your staff, give you all the information, give you all the stuff, but be ready because you're going to be the leader January 21st, so we're going to get you ready. That's the job.
Yeah.
Whether you like the person or not, that's the job. No different than the Marine jumping on a grenade. You don't like it, but that's what you got to do because this is not about what I like or whatever.
Yeah.
Trump didn't do that. So President Biden couldn't get access to anything. His staff, his cabinet couldn't get access to anything until he became president. So they were in
Yeah.
this limbo for 2 months. They're just sitting there. They can't get nothing because President Trump didn't sponsor, at the time, President Trump didn't sponsor Biden. Be like, hey, you're the new president. You're coming. Hey, get your staff ready. We're going to give you the clearance. Let's go start doing this stuff because you got to get ready for January. Trump's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with you. You're going to have to wait till your presidency. You don't make that decision because you just hurt the country. President
Exactly.
Biden has the responsibility to start forming his national strategy. His cabinet needs to start getting informed so they can do their job. Whether you
Yep.
like it or not, Biden's the president. He needs to do his job. It doesn't matter what you
Hmm.
like or not. But he
Yep.
chose himself over the needs of the country. And when I saw that, I'm like, fuck you. You don't get a choice. This is not about you. It doesn't matter if you didn't like the way things turned out. Do your oath, do your turnover, because that man's in charge now. You have to do your oath. And
Yep.
he didn't. So 2 months, Biden and the staff couldn't get any information. And then President Biden and his staff didn't get anything knowledge until day one when he became president. 2 months
Yeah.
of being kept in the dark because Trump was in his fields and he made it about himself.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck you.
Yep.
We can't give that guy another shot of presidency when he makes it about himself. He doesn't care
Yeah.
about the country. You care about the country, jump on that goddamn grenade. And here's the
Exactly.
crazy part: you're not gonna die. You lost. So like, stop being a child. You lost. That's the president. Do your job. Do what's best for the company, for the country. Here, hey staff, coordinate with his staff. Hey, Biden, here's all the information I know. This is everything that's going on that you need to know. Start forming up your strategy. Because come next year in 2 months, you're the president. I don't like
Yep.
it. I think you cheated. I think you stuck. But guess what? I got to jump on this grenade. I got to bite my tongue and cringe and cry. It doesn't matter. This is my responsibility. I got to do it. But he didn't. Because he felt he's more important than the overall country and the needs of the country. And that's, he felt that as responsibility. So that's how I see it.
But what do you say to people who don't care?
But that's the thing. You don't say anything to them because they don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care. You don't. You just don't. You just let them live the way they live.
Yeah.
You know, if people cared, you know, the people who do care, I explain it to them and they're like, wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, now you know why I'm pissed. Because I left my daughter and my wife here twice to deploy to Iraq. Imagine if I made it about me. Imagine if every Marine makes it about themselves. Then there wouldn't be a Marine Corps. We'll be a selfish organization that don't fight wars because it's about me. Oh, I'm not gonna die. You know. Imagine like, oh, I'm not gonna fight a war. What's in it for me? Me get killed and leave my daughter without a father? Nah, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Imagine if we thought like that. Sometimes you can't make it about you. Especially if you believe in an ideal, right? He doesn't believe in an ideal. And he wasn't going to die. His life wasn't at risk. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you lost. One way or another, you lost. So do your job and do what's in the best interest of the country. And he didn't. He was so salty about him losing. He said, fuck everything. Hell no. Nah. And not only did he do his job, you had the January 6th insurrection was even worse. Like what the fuck is you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. He didn't do his responsibility.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this guy doesn't give a shit about the country. He only gives a shit about himself and his power. He's already set the stage that if he loses, the Democrats cheated. He's already setting the stage. He's already doing on his True Social saying, oh my God, I already got word that Pennsylvania's already cheating. Like he's already setting the stage. He doesn't give a shit. You know, so he's making it about him. It's like a child. If I win, it's fair. But if I lose, you cheated.
Yeah.
That's literally the mind of a child. Like literally. Like who does that? But anyway, we're going to move on from the topic. Hey, we're going to go. Sorry about that. We're going to keep it. I know last time was almost an hour. We're moving on real quick, right? So let's go around the room. What's going on? Welcome, my friends, my fellow gamers, to another episode of 60 Frames No Lag. Your only friend is YouTube Street Sporter Rock 77 out there. And somebody said in the chat, if you're in America, go out there and vote and stuff like that. But we're going to go around the room. We'll start with Extreme, my brother from Down Under. What's going on?
Hey man, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, not your last video. I think you did a new one, but the one before when you talked about that all sins are. I'm paraphrasing.
Theft.
Like all sins are really originally from theft. Theft is like the original sin. Everything else is just like
a version of that.
Can you DM me who said that? I would love to read that.
So it's a book and it's a character in the book. And yeah, I will DM you the book and the author. But it's The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Wonderful book. It's the only book I read in school that was actually worth reading. So if you guys want like a really great book, that's a really good recommendation right there.
I liked how you explained it, where like if you kill someone, you stole their right to live, right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like everything is theft in one form or another. Yeah. That is the heart and soul of sin. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I want to read this book. That's good, right?
Yeah, it's a really good book. It's a really good book. It deals with not only that, because that's an aspect of the character, but the whole story kind of revolves around this idea of sin and redemption. And yeah, the Kite Runner is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, if you guys, you ever get tired of like talking about games or in recent podcasts, politics and everything
If you
like
want to
that,
do
go
real
ahead.
shit, if you want to learn some real
Exactly.
shit, pick up a goddamn
Go ahead.
book. All right.
Listen, especially when it comes to gaming, the stories and everything, it's really hard to have an impressive story in gaming, if you're a reader, because you've seen
Well,
many types of
oh
stories.
yeah.
If you guys want to see like the originators, the medium that is meant for storytelling, it is books and everything. So, read books, go ahead, go, and you'll gain so much knowledge that you can bring back into your medium here and other mediums such as TV and movies and everything like that.
You know what's crazy? I always look at. Well, I ain't gonna say I always look at, but when you look at it, like like in the aspect of America, video games is
Mhm.
like the soccer for America. And what I mean by that is like all the top talent are movies, TV shows,
Yeah.
authors. And then the guys who ain't good at that, oh, let me make a video game and tell a story in a video game. Because you can't really
Exactly.
make it in the movies. Like, man, your story sucks. Oh, I'll just write the story for a video game and people will love it.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Honestly, what
Like
what
all
you
the
say is
top
kind of
authors are making video game stories.
let me tell you. Like when I read some stories, I'm just like, you're a failed writer because it's just like you can't even cut the mustard. You wouldn't be like one of those Kindle Unlimited people that are just trying to get the book out. Like you're not even up to that level. But here you are working at Bethesda or some other kind
And
of
you get an
prestigious
award at the
studio.
Game Show Award.
Exactly. I'm
Best
just like,
writer.
what the fuck? Exactly. I'm just like, this writing sucks. Like you guys don't read, and that is an issue. The gamers don't read, the media don't read. So it's like no one is just there to point out how garbage this thing is. Until you're me, and then you point out, and then people are like, "Oh my god, how can you tell?" Like Dragon Age just came out. And the moment I saw the trailer, which of course doesn't reveal much about the story, but the moment I saw the art style, I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be a garbage story." Because all of these things are interlinked. And it's like when your art style is so divorced from what your game is meant to be and what it's meant to be like, you just know that the story didn't make it through. Like they didn't save all the money on the art style or the graphics to put it into the storytelling. So, anyways, that's my opinion there. But hey, I've been doing good. I've been playing Nino Kuni remastered, yes, because I don't play old games. But I've been playing that mostly on the portal, and I've got about 67 hours or something like that. So I think about 40 of those are on the portal. To be honest, I'll probably be playing it through this podcast. So if I don't catch something, it's probably because I'm on the portaling and everything. So I hope everybody's having a great day. It is a hot day over here. It's nearly 100 degrees. Okay, for you Americans. So there
Wow,
you go. It's
100
like 90.
degrees. There you go. See?
There you go. There you
We
go.
understand. 100
There you
degrees.
go.
You would have been like, it's
Yeah.
22 degrees. The fuck
For
is
people
that?
with actual who live on planet Earth, that's about 32 degrees today,
30, that
like
don't mean
29 to
shit. That's like
32.
32
There you
degrees is
go.
cold
For
as
for
it's,
for
32
the
degrees
rest
is
of
cold as
us,
fuck.
who have a metric
You
system that
see?
actually makes sense.
You
I was
know,
going to
100
say
degrees.
31 degrees.
Listen, 100 degrees sounds hot. 32 degrees don't sound hot. It just doesn't sound hot.
Frame of reference.
It just doesn't sound hot. It just doesn't sound a lot. You know, 100 degrees. Like it's 120. Like wow, that's crazy. But anyway, I'm glad, man. Glad you're here. J Dub, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's going on? Yo, your best friend pre-order the Pro.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, as we, it's
Who you think I'm talking
coming.
about? Who you think
It's
I'm talking about?
coming. I knew it.
Who you think I'm talking about?
Your boy.
Your boy Chaos Lounge.
Yeah. The one that's
PlayStation,
the one he's talking about.
bitches.
I know it. I know it.
Wait, you got
It's
the Pro?
coming.
I know it.
It's coming.
That's crazy.
PlayStation, bitches. My man got the Pro. Now he's trying to
knew
say,
it.
but I only got it for $100. Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, I saw that.
He traded his Xbox Series X, his Xbox Series S, the Xbox One, all the headsets. He got rid of all that shit.
They all doing it. They all listen.
PlayStation,
They're all frauds.
bitches.
They're all frauds. They know what greatness is. You can't stop the train, man. The PlayStation train.
Yo, all these dudes, all these Xbox dudes, they're like, oh, who's it for? Don't get it. Like 2 weeks
Yep.
later, all right, I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
PlayStation,
No.
bitches.
Well, do you see how they announced they
Like
got
I
it?
said, I'm not playing Indiana Jones on my Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Oh,
Fuck Game
well,
Pass.
I only got it because it cost me $50,
Oh
and
yeah,
well, I only got it. I got
right,
I got $700 trading credit for my Xbox.
yeah,
It just
right.
made sense.
It's
Yeah,
different. Yeah, of course.
yeah. These
Yeah.
fucking guys.
Yeah, I got what is that? I got 5 or 6 Xboxes in storage, so I just
Exactly. Oh my god. Uh,
PlayStation bitches. Yo, what do you think? I can't. I
man.
never see so much
Yep.
fraudulency over a console
Yep.
in my life, bro. This is
Exactly.
bad, bro. Oh my
It
god.
it's we knew it was gonna be. Listen, we've been in the game for quite a
Oh
long time. We know
man.
how this shit goes, Porter. We know how this shit goes, right? Um, yeah, everything been good. Listen, man. Two more days, and everybody in the
Oh
mom
man.
will have the
Yes.
PS5 Pro. I honestly believe this system is going to sell way more than the PS4 Pro did.
I
It
agree.
has way more games than the PS4 Pro did at launch. You already see, you already know all the games going to take advantage, and the biggest game in the world is going to be taking advantage of it. Um, Call of Duty, and I'm pretty sure we'll talk about that. So, yeah, man, everything is looking great. Everything is good in the hood.
No. Oh man. All right. All right. Thanks for stopping by. And we got the judge.
Fellas, what's going on with y'all, man?
What's going
What's
on, my
good, my
brother?
brother?
How are you
I'm
doing?
up. You know what? I just want to talk video games, and I feel that way because, with I'll say this: in corporate America, there's a bunch of Homer Simpsons, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
He says
Hmm.
a bunch of Homer Simpsons.
Hmm.
All right.
J Dub know exactly what I'm talking
You
about.
already know, brother. You already know. There's only a couple of There's only a couple of Apu's, right?
I was thinking more
Yeah.
Frank Grime. I was thinking of Frank Grimy.
Yeah.
Mm. All right. Okay. All right, man. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk gaming, right? But before we get into it, hey, for everybody, man, if you don't mind, hit the like button. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the show. We're gonna talk some topics here, but let me get through the super chats real quick. First, gonna start out with Tommy Bull. Thank you with the $2 super chat, my brother. He says Phil Spencer for president, 2028. Oh man. Oh man, make Xbox great again. I don't, I mean, why not at this point, right? Okay, we got Liquid Data. What's going on? $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says good evening, my guys. What's the first game y'all are playing on the Pro? For him, it's Black Myth Wukong. Interesting. All
Mm.
right, hey Jada, what's gonna be? I already know. All right, yeah, it's gonna be
You already know,
all right. Gran
brother.
Turismo 7 and
8K60,
8K.
brother.
I already knew that answer. I already knew that answer. All right, yeah. I already knew that answer. Like, you listen. If you didn't know, that would be J Dub's first game. Then you don't know J Dub. You haven't been paying attention, right? My man got a whole steering wheel on his avatar, right? So my man, he's gonna finally put that 8K TV to use. It's
Facts.
like finally, my $10,000
Facts.
investment.
Yep. You
All right.
already know.
What's the second game? That's a more interesting question. Don't say F1.
This
Don't say
I'm gonna
F1.
be honest. That
He's gonna say
second game,
F1.
nah, I'm gonna say that for the third one.
Okay. What would be the second one?
It's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna say probably Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
Listen, right now that's my game of the year,
Mm.
bar none. Um, there's a lot of close ups, but man, that game is just so fucking fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna boot that up second and check that out and see. Obviously we're all gonna just be flipping from game to game to game and seeing how it looks and how it runs before we settle down with what game. There is a game that come out tomorrow,
Yeah.
and that is Metro Awakening, and that's in VR with the PSVR 2. So if you guys ever played Metro Exodus or the Metro any of the games from the Metro series, that's that, but in VR.
Okay.
So
Oh.
fucking
All
great
right.
game. I can't wait for this.
Okay. Hey, I think one person sound a little low. How I sound now? Here we go.
Well,
Hopefully
you sound good.
that
Yeah.
that that's rare.
That ain't too bad.
That's rare. That's rare that somebody says I sound low. Oh shit. Hell's turning. Oh shit. Trump's gonna win. Oh shit. The day I sound low.
The
Oh
podcast
shit.
is just the panel is just being too quiet, and that's what they
Oh okay.
mean. We need
Oh
to get
that's
into it.
Mhm.
all
That's
right.
what they
Okay.
mean.
All right.
It's not that you
Okay.
sound low; it's that we are not matching your energy. You know, there's
Oh, okay. All right. For me, it's gonna be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm gonna pop that sucker in, and it's gonna be
Yep.
beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait. Can't wait. Hey, Judge, are you getting the Pro?
Oh yeah. I'm just
Ooh.
remember
Ooh.
I ordered it through
Oh,
GameStop already.
oh, okay, good. Hey, so what's gonna be your first game that
You
you
know
play on the
what?
Pro?
Yep. You're probably gonna laugh at me, but I want to try the Ant Empire game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Listen,
I
listen.
seen that.
As
Yeah.
much as I don't want to laugh, but it's 60 frames though.
wait, what is this game?
Okay,
it's
60.
it's I forget what's it
Empire of
called.
the Ants.
Empire of the
Em-
Ants.
yeah.
Empire of the Ants.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so on Twitter. So the base PS5 and Xbox Series X, it's locked at 30 frames. I think. I don't know. I don't know if they mentioned for performance mode, but it sounds like it's running on 30 frames, while the PS5 Pro Enhanced is at 60 frames.
Yeah, the Pro is the only one doing 60. It
Yeah,
does
so
4K
maybe
60.
I don't
The
know.
other
Yeah,
consoles are doing 30, based
yeah,
on what I read. Yeah.
right. Yeah, because they didn't mention if the base consoles have performance mode. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the full story, but that's what they put out. But that's pretty crazy. All right, my man's gonna play Empire of the Ants. He's gonna get that full 60 frame experience.
Yo, this shit looks better than Hellblade
But,
2. The
but
fuck?
oh man, here we go, here we go.
Yo,
Oh
this game
man,
looks good though.
oh man.
No, that's crazy. That is
Oh snap.
crazy. It looks better
Oh,
than Microsoft's best looking game.
oh
That's
wow.
insane.
Here we go.
I never even
Here,
heard of this.
Astro
Hey man,
Cyborg.
power to you.
Astro,
Power to
Astro,
you.
Astro Cyborg got you. He's
Hey,
like,
listen, man.
yes. He's
Listen,
like,
look at these
yes.
graphics. It's an actual open world ish.
Yeah.
Like I can actually go places. It's not just on rails. That's
Oh,
crazy.
oh,
I
That's
hear that
crazy.
game. I hear that game is. I hear good things about it. I really do.
oh, okay. We'll see. Imagine sleeper hit of 2024. That would be crazy. All right. All
Hey,
right.
listen.
Here we go. All right. Hold on. And got one more super chat. Patrick Allen, thank you for the $5 super chat. Patrick said, Microsoft's new console is called the Surface Pro Xbox Edition. I mean, Game Pass Pro. Oh man, everybody's just going after. It's the Amazon. They got 200 million console sales now, thanks to Amazon. All right, man. Thank you for the super chat again. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button. Truly appreciate. Got over 300 views already. Really solid. Hope you enjoyed the show. But let's talk about the PS5 specs leak, right? So because PS5 consoles out, they're doing a breakdown, stuff like that, and right now. What it looks like is, a Zen 2 CPU. So we know they didn't make much changes to CPU. I think it's a 10% performance boost. The GPU is at 16.7 T-flops. The memory, GDR6 16 gigabytes. And we know it's 579 gigabytes. So much faster than the 448 the PS5, base PS5 have. And better than the Xbox Series X. The Xbox Series X is 16 gigabytes for the split pool. 10 gigs is at 506 gigabytes of speed, while the remaining 6 is like at 3 something. So I don't know why Xbox did that, but so really high speed memory is limited to 10 gigs, not 6, right? But right here, the PS5 Pro, you got 16 gigs at 576. But they added more memory. They added DDR5, 2 gigabytes of DDR5. So many are speculating that 2 gigabytes will go to the OS, which means more memory from the 16 gig can go to the developer. So let's say if go ahead.
Yeah, all of the 16 gig of GDDR6 is dedicated to video RAM, whereas the 2 gigs is for the operating system. Where you can download, run all the other services and stuff in the background. That way, you don't have to use that. So basically, like Porter Rock said, more memory.
Yeah. So there's two assumptions. One is that. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's the first assumption, that all 16 gigs and then 2 gigs strictly for the OS. Another assumption is the 2 gigs offset. So let's say like if you need 3 gigs of memory for the OS, well, 2 of it will come from the DDR5, and now only 1 gig will come from the GDR6. meaning you still get more, right? Because like if
Yeah.
let's say if the OS needs 3 gigs, well the base PS5 it doesn't have any other type of memory, only the 16 gigs. So that means on the PS5 base PS5, 13 gigs are going to developer, while now on the PS5 Pro, 15 gigs are going to developer. Only 1 gig is allocated because they also added additional two. So it could be both case scenarios. It could be the full, like I hope it's a full 16 gigs. That would be nice, because then that would mean they optimize the OS
assets and everything else.
And not only that, they also optimize the OS to where on the base PS5 Pro only 2 gigs is needed for the OS, 14 gigs. You know, so either way it's a win-win for the simulation, right? Here goes different types of ports, USB-C Type A, yeah, that's pretty normal. 390 watts, you know, stuff like that. So I mean, not too thing. The thing I want to talk about is, and let me demonstrate it. This right. Let me show with this. This will probably. I want everybody. We need to go back to the past in order to talk about the present. We have to remind ourselves the past. Let me show y'all guys this. Right. So you were in 2020, right? In 2020, Xbox guys, you know, talking about Xbox. You know, I mean, they made it such a big deal with the teraflops, right? With the T-flops, right? It was such a huge deal, right? And when you think about it mathematically, it was the 12 T-flop Xbox versus the 10.3 T-flop PlayStation. So you had a difference of just 1.7 T-flops, right? That 1.7 T-flops, look how far. Look at this.
Yep. Seats receipts.
I like the little boost word at the bottom. That is petty level shit.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, this isn't just a normal 10.3. That's a boost mode only.
Yeah.
That's funny.
In the SSD high.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Eat months for. Remember, eat months for breakfast.
Yeah, that was a 1.7 T-flop difference.
Yeah.
Like 1.7. Yeah. Now they're bashing the PlayStation 5 Pro because it's only a 4 T-flop difference.
Yeah.
4.7 T-flop difference.
It's a whole Xbox Series S difference.
Yep.
Think about that.
Literally, because that's like right? Almost, pretty much. It's like, right? And here's the thing. Like, I don't really care that's a 4 T-flop difference because Sony already proved T-flops don't matter.
Yeah.
The way I see it, if base PS5 can handle its business, if it could be 10 toes down, you know what I'm saying? With 10.7 T-flops, and it handled business, imagine what the Pro's going to do. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. Because I always advertised and said the PlayStation 5 Pro is simply a better PlayStation 5. So whatever you're getting on the PS5 and experience and all this stuff, the Pro's going to do it much better. And especially with the added technology with RDNA 3, ray tracing, and the PSSR, the pisser. You know, you're going to get golden showered and all that crazy stuff. It's literally just better. So if you're joining the PS5, this PS5 Pro is just simply better. It's going to blow it out the box. That's it. That's all I advertise, right? But these very same people that bragged about a 1.7 T-flop difference is now dismissing the PS5 Pro. Like, come on now. What's going on here, Jacob? What are we doing?
Yep.
You know.
Look, I'm going to be honest, man. It is what it is. These guys... Listen, 90% of the Xbox fan base have already flipped sides. You know, they want to be part of PlayStation Nation now, or PC Master Race. They already jumped ship. Ain't nothing but a handful of them left, right? And those are the guys who are blabbering nonsense, and they don't matter because they don't make any sense. They got my brother Doc Dark out here, you know, trying to figure if he want to be a PC gamer. He's trying to work that out. It's like, dude, just get a fucking PlayStation. Get your PS5 Pro like you really want to and call it a day. Stop fooling around with the damn PC. But these guys, they for 2 generations in a row, they've hyped up having all that power when power was never Xbox's problem. Microsoft has always tried to fix a software issue with more hardware, and they jump out the gate this time with not one next generation console, but two, and still got issues with the software. Think about it. They bought half the industry right now. ABK, ZeniMax, they own all of the publishers, they own all that, and they still only put out one game this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they still have that problem, and so these guys are still they're hoping to get a handheld. They're hoping to get another next generation console that's more powerful. But right now, because Phil said what he said about never not having the most powerful system ever again, and you know how they love Phil and his quotes. They hold him to it, and now that they don't have that power, they can't cope. So the number one thing is to bash it, make the power narrative don't matter anymore. T flops don't matter, or it's not enough T flops, and it's just I'm kind of glad the console war is over because you can just ignore all this crazy stuff. But we got receipts for years. And that's the great thing about it. We're going to be able to take these receipts, showing these people say it eats monsters for breakfast, and we're just going to say that the PS5 Pro eats monsters for breakfast, and we'll be able to show it. Matter of fact, Call of Duty is PS5 Pro enhanced, and we know that that's going to be the best place to play it. Maybe 8K 120. I can't wait. We got another couple of days for all of these patches come out and all these. Yeah,
you messy.
So, I'm telling you, they've already started. Right, a lot of these patches aren't even out. People are already creating these fake graphs showing that the Pro compared to the X Series X, and it's the same. Or it's crazy out there, man. It's just these dudes, man. They're delusional.
Mm-hmm. I'm already seeing a little bit of people using screenshots of comparison, but some of the games they're using, like for example, Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, Elden Ring's not pro enhanced. It's not pro enhanced. So like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, if you're gonna make a comparison, like now, like I said, when it comes to PlayStation, they always turn dumb on the technology, right? Like now all of a sudden they don't understand what's going on, right? They don't they don't realize like the games should, it has to have pro enhancement to truly take advantage of the PSSR technology and all that stuff. If the developer, like Elden Ring's not pro enhanced, so
they're doing the same thing about the resolution. All of a sudden, they've been bragging about DLSS for the last few years, but all of a sudden now, when the pisser technology come out, the native resolution is low, and like, what did you think the DLSS was? Right, that's what it does. It takes a lower resolution and it amplifies it better, right, with better performance. But it's okay when NVIDIA does it, but it's bad when PlayStation does it. Right, it's just. You can't. There's no winning with these guys. But the good thing about it is we won the console war, and we'll continue to get, regardless of what they say, we'll continue to keep these receipts and continue to mock them, and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
But each day is something different. The goalpost is getting pushed each day, and it's crazy. No, like, guess what? These guys are going to have to compare the PS5 Pro to their $700 consoles that they try to force us to buy and create and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. All right. What you call it? I don't think there's much to say. Hey, Extreme, you got anything on the topic? It's not too much, but I think over the next course of the year or so, it's only gonna get bad. Like, to tell you the truth, I don't really care about the numbers, right? I'll be honest. All I care about is the results, and that's where it's gonna be beautiful. Oh my god, because it's gonna be amazing.
I agree with you because the thing is, I always like magic tricks, and I never like to learn how they're made. Like, I don't want to know how the sausage is made. For me, it's like, deliver me the magic. I know that there is a trick to it. I know that there is machinations and sleight of hands and everything, but I don't want it explained to me. I just want to enjoy the product. So for me, it's like with this. I think it's very dangerous because we take a look at specs and people have taken the T-flop count despite an actual console architect telling you that, hey, this isn't a good measure of performance the way you're trying to make it. and they've taken it, they've held on to it, and they are trying to assign all of this value to this thing that is purely theoretical and has no real bearing about what the end product is, as we have seen. And I think it's the same mistake that now the same people, but now on PlayStation, are making, because now they have the highest number. They want to go like, oh, look at this. We have, either 16.7 or it's actually 33 because it's like dual operations or instructions. And I'm just like, where are these people getting this information from? Because it seems like the architects and the actual engineers never really talk to us directly. They never, Mark certainly doesn't sit there and he says, like, hey, this measure is related to this output that you're seeing on your TV. And I just think it's very dangerous. We are entering in a space where you have a whole bunch of clueless idiots trying to pretend to be experts. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, super hard. So at the end of the day, I don't really care that it has one particular number or another, and I don't really care that it is higher or lower than an Xbox. If this thing came out at 11 T-flops, I still wouldn't care, because at the end of the day, it is the result that matters. So listen, at the end of the day, what you want is to look at the games, find a game that you are really excited for, and then think to yourself, do you want to play that game on the Pro or are you happy to play it on the base PlayStation? And that's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's it. Just make that decision. But hey, listen, for all of those people that, regardless of the fact that this is clearly the most powerful box, they want to go against it. Listen, there's going to be receipt for days. J-Dub isn't going to get off your neck. Like, he's going to put that boot on it, you know? But also, what I wanted to say is the thing that I want to talk about, what Jada mentioned before, all of these Xbox refugees that are just trying to run ship to PC. Like, honestly, I'm surprised that they're not running ship to Nintendo. I promise you, the day that the Switch 2 is announced, no matter how weak that hardware is, you will see them pivot to Nintendo because they want to go anywhere but where they actually want to be, which is on PlayStation. Because really, what you want is a high-end console gaming experience. But you don't want to admit defeat. You don't want to seem like, yeah, you're abandoning ship. And the funny thing is that all of these Xbox personalities on YouTube and Twitter, all of them have a PlayStation already. Like, that's the thing I never understood. People are like, oh, I buy multiple consoles so I can't be locked out. No, no. I buy one console because I know what I want. Like, I don't need the other ones. I don't want a Nintendo console. I don't want an Xbox console. I only needed the one console. And clearly, for me at least, it's the right console. But the thing is, listen, if you are an Xbox person in the chat and you want to have the best, highest end gaming experience on console, just buy yourself a PS5 Pro. Don't go to PC. Don't go for the second best option. Don't get a Switch because suddenly you're into like kiddie games and everything like that. Or, oh, you want creative games. Or you want variety. No, just say what you actually want, which is you want a PS5 Pro, and then when you get it, you'll be happy. Yes, you'll feel bad, but you'll be happy. You'll be like, you feel like you're cheating on your girl, but this one is so much better. She's funny, she makes you laugh, she's intelligent, and she does great things in bed. Listen, just get the PS5 Pro, okay? Okay? It can be your side piece, but really, you're gonna marry her by the end of it. Like you hear that J. Cole song? What is it? He's just like, oh God, what were the lyrics? He's just like, he calls his girl, and he's just like, damn, this is good. I'm not coming home. That's what the PS5 Pro is gonna make you do. It's gonna make you call up your Xbox and be like, "Hey, babe, I'm not coming home. This is it. I found my place." So listen, get out there and just don't just commit infidelity, just adultery, just sin. Go ahead. If you are if you are on your Xbox and you love your Xbox and you're married to your Xbox, just cheat on her, just adultery and sin, and just you pay for it. You go to hell later, but enjoy it while it lasts. Get that PS5 Pro, commit that sin. Go ahead, do it. Emmanuel told you to. No role
Okay.
models. Thank you,
Well,
Brian. Brian is how do you always got my back, man? Thank you. Hey, listen, J. Cole, no role models, okay? First thing that you do when you get your PS5 Pro, you can connect it to Spotify and listen to that song, okay? Because as far as your Xbox goes, don't save her, bro. She don't want to be saved.
all right. I mean, yeah, to be honest, some people already took your lessons because like Kids Move pre-ordered the Pro.
Oh, Kids Move.
Yeah,
Kids
and
Move is
that one's like
an adulterer.
Yeah, that's straight up. He's still going
That's
through
adultery.
it. He's still.
Do you know what he said? He literally said like, "Oh, I'm not even excited for it." Whoa! Then why you got her number on your phone though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why you got her number though?
Just delete the
why
number.
you texting her 3 a.m. in the morning?
Oh man!
Why are you texting her 3 a.m. in the morning though? Asking if she's up. What? You looking for her health?
Oh man, that's crazy.
Listen. Commit adultery, okay? Cheat on your Xbox. Do it. It's good for you. It's healthy. That's it. When your Xbox calls you back, say, "Hey, babe, I did things to her that I could never do with you. I respect you too much." The way I push her button, I could never do that to you. I call her names I would never even say in your presence. You know, I call her great. I call her formidable. You know, I said the word exclusive because she actually has those. Just go ahead, cheat on your Xbox, man. Just cheat on her. Just cheat on her. Just cheat on her. Just do it. Just do it. You pay the alimony later. Okay, you pay the child separation fee. Just go ahead. You buy the next Xbox.
Oh, snap. What's all right? What's going on, man? Hey, yo, Judge.
All right, so I'm gonna go a different way. First and foremost, I don't agree with M as far as the committing adultery and the sinfulness, but he has a point. He has a point.
He could have chosen a better analogy. He could have chosen a better analogy.
Hey, hold on. Not to your actual wife, to your Xbox, okay?
I know where you're going.
Just limited.
No, let me cook for a minute. I know where you was going, and that's part of the problem. Not what you said, but you hit the nail on the head as far as with a lot of these Xbox or Xbox content creators. Whereas the way that they talked about Xbox and defended Xbox, you think that you was attacking their wives or their significant others or their family. To me, that's part of the problem. But then on top of that, to your other point, is that a lot of these Xbox content creators, they are few and far between now. Like they all jumping ship. Either they either buying the PS5 Pro or they going over to PC, which makes me go back to a point that I think I said last year to you, Rock. I said, when I get on YouTube, it reminds me of and I'm not trying to be political, but I'm just making the comparison. It reminds me of Fox, whereas Fox, it's overproduced opinions, and that's all YouTube is. And this is one of the reasons why I rock with this channel, just because of the fact that you may not be right in everything, but at least when you come with your opinions, or when you do come with facts, it makes sense. So I always appreciated that. But as far as like the way that it's not even Xbox pundits no more. I mean, shit, I could think of Crap Gamer. I mean, to me, Crap Gamer was one of the biggest ones. Back in the mid 2000s, not mid 2000s, excuse me, in the mid 2010s. Another one, he jumped over to PlayStation a while ago. MBG, I know he was a big Xbox guy. So it's like, yo, like I don't get game boxes, I don't get a console just for just to brag about that I got a console. I mean, first and foremost, whenever I get a console, based on exclusives. To me, it has always been that way, going back to the original Nintendo, when they had all the fucking exclusives, until Sega came in and Sega was able to take that away from them, and to a certain degree. To me, game consoles is about exclusives. Whoever got the most games, or whoever got the best exclusives, that's where I'm going to go. And fortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, it has been Sony, with the exception of PlayStation 3. But it has always been Sony for the most part. So it's like, hey, this is gonna go. And speaking of the PlayStation 3, and I'm gonna say it, I don't think anybody ever said this before. The reason why Xbox 360 was so what's the word I'm looking for? The reason why the Xbox 360 did so well is because of Sony fucked up so badly. That was and that's it. I mean, going to 20 years, going back to 2001, all the way to 2024. Out of the 4 generations, 3 out of the 4 generations, 35% of the time they failed. At no point in time, it's 25% of anything acceptable. 50% of anything is not even acceptable. So I'm good, man. But going back to the to the Pro League, or back to the subject at hand. I mean, we was talking more about the Pro Leaks, or excuse me, about the speculated specs of the PlayStation 5 Pro, last December, and I eat my words. Back then, I said I don't think the PlayStation 5 Pro exists because of its what was the need for it. But as I said before, I ate I eat my words. I was wrong, but that's all I can really add to this, man. It's like, to me, it's like beating a dead horse.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. J Dub, to the next topic. J Dub kind of alluded to it, but in general, we know now Call of Duty, Black Ops, which is apparently what you would call it. I guess everybody's excited for it. I think Treyarch apparently did a good job. You see a lot of positivity. I guess apparently it's big news, right? And it's PS5 Pro enhanced. So not only is the base PS5 outperforming the Xbox Series X, but it was, it's officially as part of the PS5 Pro enhanced, which means a couple of things. Obviously, with Diablo 4 also being PS5 Pro enhanced, Microsoft has the dev kits to add PS5 Pro enhancements, right? Do you think this will further make Xbox look bad as more games like Indiana Jones, PS5 Pro enhanced? Doom Dark Ages next year's coming out. PS5 Pro enhanced. Would this add, J-Dub, would this add to already the wound? Like, is this more salt on the wound of, Microsoft making Xbox consoles just look unappealing, just look bad, just the way they present it? Is this just more on top of that? When these Xbox gamers, they're going to see, holy shit. You're telling me Microsoft's putting in effort to take advantage of PSSR, ray tracing, and potentially adding stuff to the PS5 Pro version that they can't do on their own console, and they're more than willingly happy to do it?
I think it obviously doesn't help, right? But all it does is it continues to antagonize and show them the inevitability, right? It's
Mm,
inevitable when Microsoft's first party studios are showing more love to PlayStation than their own hardware.
mm,
It's very telling. And I said that once Sea of Thieves and Grounded and Pentiment and all those games came over running with double the frames and higher resolution on a less T-flop system, right?
mm,
Um, the way that Rare talked about the many years that they spent in the lab hiding and behind the frosted glass, building this game, and it was just so excited. I mean, they just talked so excitingly, but they weren't that excited for Xbox. And now we have the biggest game in the world come into the PlayStation's most powerful console, right? If the game already runs 4K 60 on the PlayStation Xbox Series X, then we saw Digital Foundry, we saw the graphs and the charts, and how the play either the base PlayStation 5 in the 120 performance mode was running like an extra 30 frames a second in most areas. I mean, which is real crazy. So imagine how it's going to look and run on the PS5 Pro. They're going to use higher textures. They're going to use PC spec settings. And the thing is going to look better and run better. So frames are going to be more stable. Shit, I mean, it's probably going to be 4K 120. And so that has to antagonize the Xbox guys. They have to. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. That they won't tell you it's a big deal, but it's a big deal. You can tell they're hurt.
mm, 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 mm.
And this is why all of those guys are running out buying fucking PS5 Pros. This is why the diehards, all the Xbox diehards, all your favorite Xbox content creators went out and bought one. They'll be playing it day one. They're gonna hide behind the fact that they're content creators and they do X, Y, and Z. But listen, you don't see PlayStation content creators running out buying Xboxes. It is what it is.
You know, um, so when it first got announced, and this is a question to Extreme, right? When PS5 Pro finally got unveiled, right? Because before there was no proof of his existence, right? A lot of Xbox screen. But then, as soon as it got officially announced, the number one question was, "Who's it for? Who's it for?" Like everybody, all of a sudden, don't understand what premium products and who's it for, because obviously we don't have that in any other industry, right? There's no such thing as premium cars, first class tickets, premium iPhones, like that, watches. Like there's no such thing as everyday products, and then you got the premium products. Apparently there's no such thing as that market, right? But now as we get closer, you're seeing people cracking. As soon as they see the specs, they're seeing more comparisons, and they love console gaming. They enjoy the experience console gaming, and now you have a console that says, "Hey, you love console gaming? This will make your console experience better." And they're like, "You know what? I'm cracking.
We don't want it.
You don't want it." So, what do you think about this change of shift from people who originally told you, it's not worth it, don't get it, who's this for, to now, I pre-ordered it? Like, what's going on? Is it is clout really that big on social media that you just want to be part of the anti-pro group, but then finally you realize, you know what? In real life, I really want the pro. Like, what's going on here?
I just talked about it in the last segment, man. Listen, I know that people think I'm just being facetious here, but the thing is, they wanted to remain faithful. That's what they wanted to do. When it was just announced and it was just numbers on a piece of paper, it's easy to tell yourself that it's not going to make that big a difference, right? It's easy to tell yourself that Xbox pretty much was the same thing, that devs just haven't used it yet. It's easy. But then when you're finally there and you're finally go ahead and you see the differences, it gets harder. Then you see one game, it gets harder. Then another game, it gets harder. Then, like Jado was just talking about, like, not only do you find out that your girl is cheating on you, but she also gave him head. It's just disgusting. She doesn't even do that with you. Listen, at the end of the day, the PlayStation 5 Pro is what these Xbox, personalities, that's what they want. If Xbox gave them an Xbox Series Elite, okay, that was near the same power performance or even more than the PlayStation 5, near the same price or even higher than the PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm telling you, they will get it on day one. It's what they actually want. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like a lot of African men when they say that, they want to marry a girl that is wifey material, right? They want to marry a girl from the village. They want to marry a well-raised girl. They want to marry this, they want to marry that. But then after they marry her, guess where they are? At the club every weekend, going out with the thoughts and the hoes that they actually want to bed, right? Because that's what you actually wanted, okay? So listen, Xbox is the girl you want to marry, but PlayStation 5 Pro, that's the girl you want to take to bed. Okay, and at the end of the day, one of those is more fun than the other. Okay, so you're gonna go out there, you're gonna commit sin. Okay, you're gonna commit adult. I've been playing way too much Cult of the Lamb.
I know, man. Like, what are you talking about now?
Listen, these are sinners out here in the streets. These are sinners out here in the streets. The PlayStation 5 Pro is the hottest thing around. It's the hottest piece of ass in town, and they all want to get with her. Okay,
Holy cow, this is 60 Frames Mad Sin, a lot of sin podcast. Holy cow. Wow.
Listen, It's a sinful episode. Because at the end of the day, these people are committing that. Listen, these people are committing the worst atrocity you could ever commit, and that is lying to yourself. Okay? Don't lie to yourself. You want to have a PlayStation 5 Pro. Just go ahead and do it. And listen. I cannot believe that people are still standing by Xbox when Xbox itself is like, yeah, we want the PlayStation 5 Pro too. We want you to see our game at the best light and the best graphics and the best resolutions and the best frame rate. So we're going to create a mode that is customized from the ground up for this other console. And that console is not one of your own. Listen. At the end of the day, go ahead, cheat on your Xbox. That is M's message to the choir today. Okay, You know, all of you people out there that are Xbox loyalists and Xbox diehards, and you're married to Xbox, cheat on her. All you PlayStation 5 people that are like, hey, listen, I'm just happy with the base console. Cheat on that. Cheat on her too. Okay, her sister's hold on. Okay, her sister is brand new. She's fresh on the scene. Okay, you go ahead and you cheat on your PlayStation 5 too. Anyways,
Okay.
there you go, Porok. You're going to be banned from your church when you go there next time. They're going to be like, hey, who'd you have there?
Listen, I had a heathen. I had one heathen from down under. That's why they call it the down. That's why they call it the Devil's Playground.
Tell
Australia.
them, tell them that I was just there to test your faith.
You will cheat. Oh man, that's crazy. And stuff. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Hey, Judge. Let's see if he's in there. The Judge. Hey, what's going on, my brother? What's your thoughts about this? Do you think more and more? You think Pro has the ability to convert more minds? And I'm not talking about really converting PC gamers to play on consoles. I'm talking about console gamers who are enjoying either the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and as time goes on, they start to realize, you know what? That is a good upgrade. That is a good jump. I need that. You know, pretty much. Do you think PS5 Pro would do a better job of showing, hey, this is a mid-gen refresh that really does something as compared to the PS4 Pro?
You know what? That's a good question.
And that's why I asked you.
You know what? I'm gonna lean towards no. And I'm 60-40.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm leaning towards no is because of the fact for these two reasons. Number one, people are, excuse my language, but people are bitching about the price of the PS5 Pro, even though it's a graphical upgrade and you're getting more and you're getting double the terabytes. Whereas if you got, just the terabytes in this by itself would always be $100 more. So to me, people complaining about that. So that lets me know that a lot of people are cheap. And then secondly, in comparison to the PlayStation 4 Pro, when I look at it, from a paper spec wise, to me the PlayStation 4 Pro was a bigger jump from the original PlayStation 4. So no, it's to me. I think the PlayStation 5 Pro is really, and you said this before, so I'm gonna give credit to you. Either you or J Dub said this before. Is an enthusiast product. Only the enthusiasts and the hardcore are going to really buy it. Like to me, I mean, $700 is $700. I mean, regardless if it's 1990 or 2025. A lot. I mean, if I'm gonna make a comparison, Neo Geo. I mean, it didn't cost $700 when it came out, but it was $600. People weren't spending $600 on a Neo Geo. When the Panasonic 3DO, when that came out in 1994, $700. People were not spending $700 on that, even though the 3DO was a shit system, but people weren't spending $700 on that. So I'm gonna lean towards no and say, the people that are the people that are getting the PlayStation 5 Pro will, are the people that really want it. And the only way that I can potentially even seeing more people getting it, and I know it's double talk right now, but the only way I can see more people getting that is if, if play is if the original PlayStation 5 expands its audience, whereas if they're projecting, the PlayStation 5 Pro to do about the same amount as 20%, to get 20% of sales as the PlayStation 4 Pro did with the original PlayStation 4, then to me that's the only way I can see that expanding. Whereas, hey, if the PlayStation 5, instead of selling 100 million 100 million consoles, it sells 120 million, then whatever 20% of 100, I can do the math. Instead of selling 20 million, they get 24 million. So that's about it. But no, I'm gonna lean towards no. I don't think that the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to uh actually bring in more people.
Okay. So you really think that the price barrier is just too big of a hurdle? Like people who did get the PS4 Pro will be like, nah, that's too much for me to even bother to upgrade for a console.
Yeah. I see the comments on social, on X, and even though I don't agree with them because I think it's stupid, and I don't like to make the comparison people broke. I just think that people just spend their money on what they want to spend their money on.
Yeah.
It, for whatever reason, a lot of people, according to social media or according to X, is not willing to spend, the $700, even though you may not actually spend the actual $700 unless you want to keep your, PlayStation 5 or whatever console that you have. But yeah, it's like, hey man, shit, I'd rather spend $700 on something that I like as opposed to paying a $700 fucking tax bill. I mean, who the hell? Shit, I don't. It happened to me too many times. I don't want to do that, so I might as well spend on something that I want.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
I honestly think that it's going to bring in a new group of gamers. I see a ton of PC guys buying the PS5 Pro. I think it's going to be marketed towards them, even though they have PCs. But again,
I be
you
honest,
got
I
to
seen PC. This,
understand
yeah,
the
I
bulk of
agree.
PC gamers
I ain't gonna say
don't
bulk,
have
but yeah.
4090s
Mhm.
and 4080s. It just don't. Nvidia sells a few million copies of those GPUs.
Uh oh.
They got him. They got
They
him.
got you, brother. The PC gamers.
They got him.
Oh shit. PC fanboys got
He
you,
was
bro.
talking about the gamers, and they were like,
That's
"No, you
it.
will not.
PC
Oh, I'm
Nation
back.
You
said.
will
Sorry,
not."
I had
PC
a phone
Nation.
call.
PC Nation said,
Yeah.
nah, nah.
Nope.
You don't talk
Sorry
Nope.
about
about
that.
us.
I had a call. No, but I was saying the
40,
bulk of PC
90
guys.
Nation. 4090 Nation said, nope,
Yeah,
not
They told
today.
him they were like, "Pull it off,
yeah.
bro. Pull it
They
off."
do not sell those cars in massive multi-million amount of numbers. They just don't. The bulk of the cards are sold on the low end, the lower end, the 4060s, maybe the 4070s, 40 the 48, only because obviously price, right? Price is the limiting factor. But even then, we see the games that most PC gamers play. None of those need a 4090, 4080, 4070, or even 4060. But I think there's multiple things that goes at play. The
Yo, hold
fact
on. Oh, sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
No, the fact that we have games like Grand Theft Auto 6 coming, right? That won't be on PC for a couple of years. The fact that um PlayStation is finally gonna, have its Wolverine and that's and all these other games. And I know people say, "Oh, well, I could just wait. I got a PC. I could just wait to play it." I just listen. Let's face it. If you're a PC gamer and you play games like that, you're not going to want to wait, and I'm going to tell you why. Because real PC gamers don't play those type of games. They play the Dotas, the CS:GOs, the bananas. They play shit like that. They don't play console ports. So all of these guys that have PCs, those are mostly Xbox guys that moved to PC because Xbox wasn't giving it to them. And those are the guys that say, "Man, yeah, I got God of War, I got Spider-Man on my PC." Yeah, because you're a console gamer. And I believe console gamers will always want the more power, but more than that, they'll want the best games. And PlayStation has the best games.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Yo,
Interesting.
what I was going to say, J-Dub and Polo, do you guys know why the point and shoot camera doesn't exist anymore? Do you guys know the type of cameras I'm talking about?
Yeah,
They
yeah, I know
don't
what you're
exist
talking about.
anymore because everybody has a number in their head, okay? When you ask camera buyers, okay, what is the maximum price or the budget for a camera that they feel comfortable with, they always answer one thing. Do you know what that is? They always answer $500. Like if a
Hmm.
person's trying to get into photography, that is a number that goes in their head, as in this is a reasonable amount to spend to get into photography. And they mean it like in a big way. They're not looking for entry level cameras. They're like, no, I'm a photographer. That's what I want to do. They say $500. Okay. Do you know what the price is for PC that people always say? $1,000. Now, here's the thing. The point and shoot camera doesn't exist anymore because in reality, if you want to get into photography in a big way, you're spending way more than $500. And in fact, if you're spending less than $500 or up to $500, I and every other photographer and honest salesperson would tell you take that $500 and put it in a better phone because the
Mm.
phone is going to be a better camera. That upgrade from the iPhone base to the iPhone Pro, that's a better investment of $500 for the better camera than if you were to buy a piece of shit little camera that is not going to do anything for you. Because if you want to come into this space that with actual performance, the barrier to entry is way higher than $500. You're talking about $1,000 and up. So the smartphone took over the point and shoot because it became the solution at that price point. The reason I disagree with the judge is that I believe that the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to now be that easier or better investment at less than $1,000 than the PC is. I think every honest PC person will tell you, like, hey, if you want to game at a medium to high level and you only have $1,000 to spend, don't spend it on PC. Take that money, put it in the PlayStation 5 Pro, and enjoy gaming over there, because that's going to be a better investment of your money. So I do think that there's going to be a large group of people who will say, like, hey, I want to get into PC specifically for the games, and I have to choose between a laptop, between a desktop, and then of course between something that is customized and I build it myself or whatever. And I think it's going to start to make a lot more sense for people to say, like, hey, instead of doing all that, just go and put it in PlayStation 5 Pro. Okay? And I've got to say, the base consoles are also great value in that regard, because both the Series X and the PlayStation 5 will also do the same thing, but at a lower price point, with, of course, the compromise of slightly less performance than the Pro. I think that this generation is the first generation in a long time where PC gamers can't just match their capability at the same $500 price point. Okay, and they certainly can't do it at the $700 price point of a PlayStation 5 Pro. So I think it does have a lot of potential to take market share, in terms of, or to at least be an attractive option for people who are considering coming into PC gaming for less than $1,000. And then again, when the Switch 2 is released, that will be $400 to $500 most likely. And depending on the type of gamer that is, they will also be really tempted by that. So there could be a moment where a person is like, hey, I can spend $1,000 on the PlayStation, also on the PC, because that is a number that comes to my mind, or I can get the PlayStation 5 and the Switch 2, or a Series X and the Switch 2, or I can get a PlayStation, a PlayStation 5 Pro and then a Switch 2 later, because again, I will be able to maximize the return on investment. Consoles this generation are a great value add, and I think just like last generation, you had a lot of PC growth with people turning away from console to go to PC. I think we're going to see a little bit of a correction with people actually on the lower end being like, wait, I'm not going to get into entry level PC. Let me get into a high end console instead.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. So let me go back to Judge real quick. I don't know. I think I have the opposite feeling. I do think there's price conscious people, right? But I think first and foremost, regardless of industry, if a high end product or a high costing product actually does what it's supposed to do, like for me, if a product is not impressive but it's cheap, it's still not impressive. Like for me, like that's why I didn't get the PS4 Pro. Like, sure, it was $400, but like the money didn't matter to me. I was more concerned on what it looked, what it did, whatever, and that was the main factor for me. And I'm like, I'm not worried about it. Like the fact that it was announced at $400 didn't change my mind, because it still, as a product, didn't do what I would figure a mid-gen refresh would do, right? So it's kind of like, hey, you got this car, but it doesn't work, but I'll sell it to you for $5. But wait, hold up. You said it doesn't work. Well, yeah. So then I don't care if it's $5. It don't work. The price doesn't make it better, right? Like if something's not doing like whatever, then the price doesn't be like, oh, but since it's only this price, I'll accept all its flaws and what it's not supposed to do, right? I was so easily jumped on the PS5 Pro, right? One, we all anticipated it was going to be more money, because that's the only way it would logically work. You're not going to get more power, more performance at the same price, right? But once I saw, the picture technology and all this other stuff, I'm like, that's worth it. So then I didn't really care about the price, right? Unless it was something exaggerated like $10,000, but $700, I said minimum $600 without the drive. So I was already prepared at a minimum. I was going to pay at least $600. I was already prepared to pay $700 or whatever around that range, right? I just said minimum. This ain't going to be no $499, $450 or whatever. I said $600, and that's without the drive, right?
Yeah.
It was actually Extreme who was saying around the $700 price range and stuff like that. So But the reason I wouldn't pay it because it's doing like all this technology and give us a taste of next gen. That's what I want. So I'm gonna pay it. You know, I think there might be more gamers across the AAA industry who enjoys technology. J-Dub alluded to PC, so I agree with that too. Extreme made some great points. I think there's just people that just want good shit, and if you release good stuff, they'll pay for it. I think we're used to that, right? I can't, and I see other content creators talk about stupid shit. Oh, you guys are sucking Sony's whatever because you should be fighting for consoles are $399. Shut the fuck up! Like, you think we're children here? Like, what kind of shit? Yeah. What kind of stupid shit you doing? Like,
we know we're not getting no power.
Like, we're grown ass adults. You know, shit costs money. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we should expect consoles to be $299. If consoles are $299, they'll be like the Switch.
Right. Exactly.
You're not getting powerful technology. Like, are you an idiot? Like, shut up.
Or the Series S. It's like that exists. Yeah. A console at that price point exists already.
Yeah, the Series S is $300, and look what it is. Like, stop being stupid.
And it's discounted. I think it's subsidized. Yeah. So it's like if Sony wasn't going to make money on it, it would be less powerful than the Series S, if you can imagine. You know. So it's like for me, I don't like this agreements because I'm like, we already have this thing you're talking about. Like this hypothetical console exists. We have consoles at $300. You can just go take a look at them, and then they never talk that way about the PC handhelds, which annoys me because I'm like, wait a second. The PC handhelds are like $900 now for the Ally X, and no one is talking about the price tag or what it is. They just look at, hey, it's a capable piece of hardware. Oh. Do I want it or do I not?
Yeah.
I told you. It's only bad when PlayStation do it. I told you that. That's just that's how they act.
Yeah, an $800 handheld. But guess what? Some people say, "Oh,
that plays at
Windows.
800p.
You could. It's a portable PC that they'll come up with whatever metric to justify the price tag." And I'm like, you know what? If that's what makes you worth $800 to you, then why can't you accept other people saying PS5 Pro is worth it to them? Oh no, but there's a whole totally different rules and stuff like that, right?
That's part of it. That's part of it. As far as what you guys said, as far as people having the ability to spend $800 on a Asus ROG or any other handheld PC, but my be number one, how well known is that name Asus ROG? If I were to go up to a random person and ask them, hey, which one is more recognizable to you, the name Asus or Sony? 10 out of 10 times people are going to come up and say, all right, it's Sony, and Sony is a mass consumer product. And then secondly, I understand what you're saying now, especially I ain't pocket watching. I ain't gonna tell nobody how much I make, but we all make. I'm assuming that we all have enough disposable income that $700 is not going to kill us. We are the exceptions to the rule. All four of us on this panel and a lot of other people that's watching right now, if they buying the PlayStation 5 Pro, we are not the average. We are, we are above average, or we are the exceptions to the rules. Whereas when mass products come, when consumer mass products come out, they are supposed to hit a sweet spot, whatever that sweet spot may be. For people, some people it's $400, other people it's $500. But once you start talking about, or whenever you get away from that sweet spot, that's when that's when you start to lose people. And on top of that, and I hate to say this because when we talk about gaming, I just want to stick primarily to gaming. But going a little bit into politics. Matter of fact, I don't even gotta go into politics. One of the things that people are voting on is the economy, as far as people's pocketbooks are hurting and shit. So if your pockets are hurting, I would think that it's less likely that you will be willing to spend $700 on a luxury product.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, George. You don't have to spend it right away. Like for me, I'm not buying a PlayStation 5 Pro on day one, but it exists now. So it's like now the ball is in my court. I know the price, I know the capability, and if I want to buy it 2 years from now, I can buy it 2 years from now. There's no, for me, the thing is that, first of all, yes, it is not the common. That's what the base PlayStation 5 is, right? The base PlayStation 5 is $450 right now, right? It'll be on sale, and then it'll be like $400 during the holidays, and then people can get that. That is the mass market product. This is a premium product, yes, but it's not that much of a premium that it is impossible for a person that was interested in the first version to save up for the second version, if that makes sense. Like it's not three times the price of a PlayStation 5 base model, or
Mm-mm.
more. So if a person is considering like, okay, let me go ahead and get a PlayStation 5 digital, okay, just to keep it easy. And that will be $400 during the holidays. And they're like, well, I'm interested in this hobby. It doesn't hurt them to save an extra 6 months in order to come up with the other 300. Like, this is the thing. Like, people always talk about this, like, you have to get it right away. And the truth is you don't. If you've got other plans, if your pockets are hurting, if for whatever reason your financial situation doesn't allow you to get the PlayStation 5 Pro, you have years to get it. Like it's just a product that exists now. It's not a limited time thing, it's not an exclusive thing. It is a product that you can have access to at any time. So for me, I understand that the economic condition is the way that it is in most places around the world, but I don't understand that. I don't think the price point is going to be the difference maker. I really don't. I think there's simply going to be people that are like, I am happy with the performance of the PlayStation 5. And why shouldn't they be? It's a great product. Just like there'll be people that will be say, I'm happy with the performance of the Xbox Series X, and they feel no need to upgrade. Now if you give them the upgrade for free, sure they will get it, because why not? But they personally don't feel a need to go out there and get a second box. So that's really the thing for them. They are happy where they are, and they see no need to move. Just like you might get a better job opportunity that might pay you an extra 20 grand a year, but you're happy in your community, you're happy with your church, your kids are happy at the school, and you might be at a price point where an extra 20 grand might only be like a 10% increase for you, and you're like, you know what? It's okay. I can't be bothered making the move, going through all of the rigmarole of finding a new house and finding this and finding that, because not everything that glitters is gold, right? So there's
Right.
going to be some people that are like, yeah, I'm happy, but I don't think that the price barrier is going to be the deciding factor in the way that you're communicating right now. Like, I really don't think so. I think there's just going to be people that are like, yep. Or even people that justify it the way that they say, I don't even use my PlayStation 5 that much. So why would I go and get an even more powerful PlayStation 5? Because I can't justify, the thing that I have right now in front of me. As far as the people that do want it, listen, it just becomes a matter of investment over time. For some people, they can put up an extra $20 every week, and then eventually they'll get you $700. Also, some people are gonna be like, yeah, this shit is just gonna happen whenever it can happen. Like I'll keep a lookout for it whenever my finances line up. Boom, I get it. Otherwise, it could be there for years, and I'm not going to get it. But I think this is a well-priced product, and it differentiates itself enough from the base model, which the PlayStation 4 Pro did not do. The PlayStation 4 Pro was a slightly better PlayStation 4, but it was to the point where you needed other people to show you and to tell you how much better it was, because really you couldn't see it for yourself. This thing is a night and day difference from what it is, the base version is, without somehow making the base version feel obsolete, which is a delicate balancing act, but I just think they got it right.
Mm,
All right.
okay.
Uh, all right. I'll add this, and I'll make the comparison between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation. Excuse me, the PlayStation 4 Pro and the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, to me, when the PlayStation 4 Pro, when that first came out, to me, it did two primary jobs, in my opinion. Number one, it helped push the market for 4K TVs, and secondly, it was a more have a better experience for the PlayStation VR, because that came out within a month, or within either between 2 weeks and a month of each other, with the PlayStation VR and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, going back to the specs, what I said, because on paper the PlayStation 4 Pro was about two times more powerful uh, than the original PlayStation 4, and I agree with you, M, that we did not see two times the power of the of the original PlayStation 4. I mean, at most you would see, instead of getting 1080p, you'll get on average 1440p, or in some cases 1600p if it was a Sony first party game. Um, to me, as far as being able to take advantage of having the 4K and having a better VR experience, PlayStation 4 Pro did the job. To this day, I still play my. Matter of fact, for the past month, I've been playing my PlayStation 4 Pro because of I traded in my PlayStation 5 to go towards the PlayStation 5 Pro. So and to me, the PlayStation 4 Pro, as much as I like it, I'm honest and say, hey, this is this wasn't that mind blowing. At best it was adequate, just because of the fact that the reason why I was adequate outside of Sony's first person studios, other developers of it. Matter of fact, to this day, and I'll argue this, to this day, I still don't think that the PlayStation 4 Pro was ever really taken advantage of due to the power difference that it could have been taken advantage of. I think that the PlayStation 4 Pro was what's the word, nerfed, for a lack of a better term. But where was I going with this? Oh, I remember. So with the PlayStation 5 Pro, I mean, maybe I'm thinking about myself as far as, matter of fact, I am thinking about myself as far as my own experiences. Whereas, hey, if I'm thinking about, hey, if I was let me just say 13 years old, and I was to go to my mom and say, hey, mom, can you hey, I want this PlayStation 5 Pro or any other system that was out in '97 that cost that much money. My mom look at me like I'm fucking crazy and say $700 for what? That's more than some people's mortgages. That's more than some people's car notes. And I'm not even making a joke. I mean, again, as I said, I'm lucky enough to make over six figures, over a year, over six figures. I'm good with that. I'm good enough that I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. I'm good with that, and I'm really and I'm thankful that, hey, I have enough disposable income that at the end of the day, $700 is still $700, but it's not hurting me because of, hey, it's not, if I can't spend $700, I have bigger issues to deal with. But as far as my original point, the price being a point of barrier for some people. Again, it may not be for us, or it may not be for other people that are getting it, but that is a barrier.
But I want to say this, like you talked about the 13-year-old, but this isn't sold for 13-year-olds. For the 13-year-old, they have a PlayStation 5, that is at $400. For the person who is just trying to get a gift, or give a gift to their children, and that is what they can afford, that is what that product is targeted as. So we've got to have, like the iPhone Pro Max, that's not the one you're supposed to give to your 13-year-old child. Like, sure, people do it, and Apple was very happy, they wish that more of you would do that, but it's not who it's aimed at. And it's the same thing with any luxury good. Like, you take a look at people that buy their children Louis Vuitton. Like, sure, but that is not something that a child is necessarily meant to have, right? Because again, for most people, that's just a crazy idea. So I just think that, again, yes, $700 is a lot of money, but again, let's face it, gaming is one of the cheapest hobbies you can ever have. Like
Agree.
$700 spread over 10 years, which is
Right.
basically what the console will last for. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
that is like a huge return on investment. I would say this: the reason that my parents got me a PlayStation 2 from France, because it wasn't sold in Cameroon at the time. The reason they got me a PlayStation 2 from all the way there is because it was cheaper than buying me other gifts every single year. Because they were just like, "Yep, this is your Christmas for the next 5 years. Like that's it. You get maybe one or two games per year, but after this point, don't come at us with nothing." So even for parents, consoles have always made sense. And you keep talking about like $700 consoles back in 1990. I'm sorry, but $700 isn't $700. You have to actually adjust it for inflation. You have to adjust it for like the median average income and how much it actually costs in reality to those people. And again, those consoles used to cost way more. And parents bought them for the kids. Like a $500 console in like 1980s and 90s is way more money than a $700 console now. And parents bought those. So again, I'm just saying this isn't a product aimed at the person that is struggling or is living paycheck to paycheck. It's not for you. Just like a Ferrari isn't aimed at you. You know, J-Dub has a Ferrari, but I don't, because it's not aimed at me. If you're like, hey, listen, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got overhead, I've got kids, I've got bills, I've got a certain budget that is already within its capacity. Luxury goods such as these are not made at you for that moment. But again, it's like these things are, let's put it this way. A PlayStation 5 Pro is a lot more achievable than a Ferrari for the average person. So it's like, if you want it, it's there, it exists, and you can get there.
Yeah, but you also said it's a luxury product. I mean, that's my point. And as far as 700, comparing $700, $1990, or any other year before this year, and $700 in today's money, my point isn't, to take into account of inflation. Your average again, the original question was, that do I think that the PlayStation 5 Pro will bring in additional people? And I lean towards, and 40% yes, but I'm leaning towards no, because of the fact that whatever way we want to slice it, A, it's a luxury product, it's an enthusiast product, and then B, to your average person, you tell somebody $700, hey, they may have, because it's a luxury product, they may want to spend that $700 on something else. That's my whole point. That's it. That's it for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I mean, I see both sides of the argument, right? There's going to be the price conscious gamers, right? Which is, and we know console sells even more once it hits the $300 price point, right? I think really it's going to come down to it as how many of those that were willing to buy a PS4 Pro because it's $400 versus how many are going to be willing to pay the PS5 Pro in the $700. But then the second point is how many who enjoy technology, like how many gamers are there in the console gaming, industry or whatever, that are fans of consoles that are willing to pay $700 for a very powerful hardware that brings the best in the games. So I think that's a good question. Like, we really don't know, because I'm gonna be honest, this is probably the first time. Obviously, mid-gen refresh. I mean, technically, I remember somebody brought up a good point that technically the first mid-gen refresh was Sega Genesis when they released the 32X, right? When they had the 32X adapter, technically that's a mid-gen refresh, right? But nobody really cared, right? But last gen was the first taste of mid-gen refresh, right? All right. We officially know that because there was an interview with Herman Hulse and the CEO of the hardware side, the two CEOs, and the one that's the CEO of the hardware side. He said that PS4 Pro sold about 20% of the total, portion of the PS4. So the total sales of PS4, 20% of it is the PS4 Pro. So that's around 20 million, which is better than the 15 million that most people talked about. So you got 20 million gamers out there that was willing to buy a Pro. So the question is, out of those 20 million, how many of them just bought it because they want more powerful hardware and they're willing to do it? How many are we going to lose because it's outpriced, right? It's more than $400. So there's potentially, you lost some gamers. But then the question is, how many more gamers, let's say like me, how many are like me that saw the PS4 Pro, looked at it and realized, it's just not worth it. I'm not going to deal with it. It's just whatever. If it would have been better, if it did more stuff, I would have bought it. But so it wasn't so much the price, it was so much just the appeal to it, right? So how many gamers are like me, right? Because like I said, I could have bought the Pro. It wasn't the money. It's only $400. That wasn't the issue why I didn't buy a Pro. It just wasn't appealing to me. It's just like, ugh. To me, I thought the Xbox One X, in terms of as a mid-gen refresh, was a little bit better. Because I have 4K textures and stuff like that. I think it did better with its backwards compatibility and running games at better performance, stuff like that. I think it was a little bit better. But the goddamn thing had no game, so it wasn't really worth it. But you know what I'm saying? So how many more gamers are like me, where we take a look and then we'd be like, now that's what I'm talking about. This is worth it. So that's a good question about that. Good question around. I guess we'll find out over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Right. All right, let's move on to the next topic. But before that, let me hit up the super chat. We got Tommy Bull. Hit the like button, everyone, all right? Truly appreciate it. Hit the like button. Start with Tommy Bull. He says, hey, J-Dub, Death Stranding 2 gonna look godly.
My God.
Man, them FedEx packages is gonna be premium. It's gonna feel like you got delivered to your house.
FedEx packages are gonna be delivered. That's what's gonna happen.
I can't even imagine what Kojima's about to do.
Yep.
Yo, listen, I can't wait for the strand system to return, bro. I'm telling you, this is, people always talk about how AAA games are innovative and everything. The
Yeah.
strand system is like the latest,
Oh, the
greatest
Cairo.
innovation.
Oh yeah, the Cairo system.
Exactly,
Oh, the Cairo
exactly.
network.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yep.
was dope.
And it's just
It's
like
a,
people just ignore that, AAA games can come up with some really good shit.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Fellas,
Like you
I
said,
gotta jump
nobody really
off.
likes creative games. What's up,
Take
I
it
gotta
easy,
Judge?
jump
brother.
off.
All right,
You
take care, my
too. I
brother,
gotta wake
man.
up
Thank
at
you for.
4:30. Gotta do the same.
All right, all right.
Peace. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, the
All
judge.
right, all
Thank you.
right. Yeah. So Death Stranding 2, it's gonna look crazy. Um, here we go. True Virgil. Xbox equals wife with bank account and house. PS equals lot lizard. Oh shit. Oh shit. You know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the reason you have so much money in your bank account because you never buy any games. You never have anything to play. You know?
Mm, mm, okay. And then finally, Charles Hawk, member and a $10 super chat. He says, enjoying the podcast and a Long Island ST. Oh, man. He's enjoying himself a cold beverage. My man's just cold
There we
beverage.
go.
Don't drink too many of those because then you can be acting crazy in the chat. Hey, I switched the topic because I was going to originally talk about Call of Duty sales, but I'm like, whatever. I just saw an article on this one. I want to talk to you about this. Nintendo president says they still plan to announce the Switch's successor by the end of March 2025. So apparently they had the
That's cool.
investors meeting. Yeah, and it says Nintendo has officially confirmed that the highly anticipated Switch 2 will be revealed within this fiscal year. According to details sharing this, its quarterly earnings call. That means the company plans to announce the new console by March 31st because that would end the fiscal. So fiscal 2025 for Nintendo ends March 31st. So between now and March 31st, they're going to unveil the Switch. Now, of course, it's going to be after the holiday, right? Because they want to still sell the Switch. They want to make lots of money. This is the last go around. So I would imagine January, February is probably the highly target, right? It depends when they plan to mention when the release date. So, all right, okay. It says during the earnings call, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa confirmed the timeline, assuring fans that the successor to Nintendo Switch is still on track for an announcement. Interestingly, early rumors hinted that the Switch 2's development is now complete, with a possible release set for March or April 2025. While Furukawa didn't confirm an exact release date, this timing aligns with Nintendo's plans for the console next stage. All right, here's my question to you guys, right? And this is just prediction and just fun conversation. Clearly, it's the Switch 2, right? Because that hit that they're most likely not gonna completely reinvent the wheel, right? Probably the most successful product, period, across handhelds and consoles and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'll start with Extreme, and then I'll go to J-Dub. Extreme, what do you think Nintendo is trying to do with the Switch 2? Given what they've seen, I'll say this. I know they're paying attention to Microsoft, right? We all know Microsoft and their console, whatever, is gone. It's just they just fucked it up, right? They royally screwed it up, right? They seen PlayStation. PlayStation's kind of like in this quasi. We got our own console. We make exclusives, but after a while, we're gonna put it on PC. Hey, we put one game on Nintendo. You know, they do this. It's a weird little dynamic, right? It's kind of like Sony's a competitor, but then they like let off, like they keep their boots off the neck just for a little bit. Then they go back and let's go after third party, but then sometimes it's this weird relationship. Sony's just weird, right? You really can't figure them out, right? For the most part. I know they said that they're tentpole exclusives. You know, it's first on PlayStation, right? But notice they say first on PlayStation. They no longer use the term exclusive on PlayStation. Yep. It's first now, right? So they have this thing, right? While Nintendo, they're consistent. They don't even want you streaming their games. Don't even talk about it. Don't even put a poster. Like if I would have had a Nintendo poster back here, they would flag me and shit like that and shut this channel down, right? Nintendo's hardcore. Nah, this is it. We don't give a damn what the industry says. We don't care about here we can make more money on other platforms. They're not trying to hear that bullshit. Just nah. Do you think any of that has any influence on what they're going to do with the Switch 2 and the 4? Like, are they going to try to be like, you know what? I think now's the right time to get back into the more high-performing console industry because there's less competitor and PlayStation's in this weird spot where no like people, some people are saying and it could be trolling, it could be grifting, but like why do I got a PlayStation if the games eventually come to PC anyway? All I gotta do is wait it out, right? Nintendo, no one says that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, do you think there's any influence on what's going on with Nintendo? Could be like, you know what? This is it. We could get back in it. We'll go back in it, go after the third party exclusives, and we will say our shit is exclusives. None of this bullshit. Oh, we'll eventually go to PC. Nah, never, ever. You gotta buy our shit outright, carte blanche. This is the standard. This is the statement. There's no ambiguity at all. What do you think?
Absolutely not. Yeah, that definitely not. Never. Why? Because here's the thing. Do you know what's more valuable than market share? A locked corner of the market, like a part of the market that is basically where you're just performing by yourself, right? It's the same reason that you have AT&T and Verizon and all of those IPs. They basically separated America into fiefdoms so that they could just control that area and not have to compete with other people. Because if I have a corner of the market locked and all exclusive to me, basically where I have a monopoly within that segment of the market, why would I want to go and compete with anyone else? It literally is just huge amounts of disadvantages for me and almost no advantage to be gained. Nintendo, it has also positioned themselves where they are secretly the most premium platform, right? When it comes to like the fact that they are hardly ever on sale, they don't lower the prices for the consoles, they don't sell at a loss ever, they don't subsidize nothing. They like if you get a sale, you'll be happy if it's 10, maybe $15, like a miracle sale on Nintendo, and then it's right back to full price no matter how many years it's been. All of those things just tell me that they have cornered the market and they have gotten a little slice to themselves, and that slice is highly profitable, it is highly lucrative. Now here's the thing: if we were to entertain the idea that you put before, where they will actually try to get back into high end, here's how I think they would do it. They would do what we talked about before previously on this podcast, where they will give you a supercharged dock as an option. That is a dock that will have extra electronics that would then be able to push the boundaries of your handheld that you bought, right? But the thing is, they've got a handheld market corner, and nobody is touching it because that's really their market. The market is handheld, right? It's they're not a console, they're a handheld device that happens to connect to your TV, just like every other like Lenovo Ally and everything else. You can plug in the HDMI, you can hook it up to your TV. By the end of the day, it is a handheld console. So if you think about it, who are the competitors? It's not PlayStation, it's not even Xbox at this moment, unless they make an Xbox handheld. Their competitors are the allies from Asus, the Lenovo Legion Go's, the Steam Decks and everything, and they are molly-whopping these people. I mean, Nintendo compared to Sony, dude, it's like 100x. That's what I mean by
like not even Steam Deck. I try to look at Steam Deck till apparently it came out in 2022. It's like 2 million.
Exactly.
For 2 years on the market, and you sold 2 million.
So imagine what you're saying, Pirok. You're basically saying like, hey, there's this car that goes around the racetrack, and when the competitors on lap 2, they're on lap 20. Now they're like, oh, do you want to sign up that car to the rally? No, I don't want to sign up my car to the rally because my car isn't designed for rally racing. And I've got a Formula One car. It doesn't do rally races. I will have to go and build an entirely new car. And there's already competitors in that car that have really good rally cars. Why would I? I can just keep beating these losers over here and making sure I keep getting my money. So no, again, that would be kind of like a thing, but really, it will still just be a more powerful handheld console. The only thing that would allow them to do is to kind of retain those people that will be attracted by the power of the PlayStation 5 to come back more often. Like, hey, yes, go and get your PlayStation 5, go and get your Xbox. But hey, guess what? We've got this dock. Once you've got it, you'll be able to come back to us more often than you would otherwise. Because when a person is thinking to themselves, like, man, I really want to play Breath of the Wild, but I'm playing at like 24 frames, and I'm playing at like a max of 1080p. If you could get this supercharged dock that could go up to 1440p and guarantee you something like 40 to 60 frames, especially with like, all the DLSS and those pixel kind of technologies and everything like that. Yeah, a person could be like, yeah, you know what? I enjoy those Switch games. I enjoy the Zeldas. I enjoy the Metroids and everything like that. I main some other console as because I'm an adult and that's what adults do. But I'm going to come back more often and play more of the Switch games now because at least the downgrade from a PlayStation or an Xbox to a Switch will not be as stark. I will not feel it as sharply. Yes, the art style will still not be photorealistic, but we all understand that Nintendo doesn't really do or go for photorealism, and we all know that third party isn't what Nintendo is concerned about. So again, for them to build a rally racing car when they've got a Formula One, just to attract third party, where they will have to then share that money with other people, and then they only get 30% of the cut. I feel like Nintendo will be so arrogant. They'll be like, "Well, why are we only getting like 30% of this cut though? Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we better be 50-50. Like, why are we gonna build a more powerful console for you? When we don't need it, when our first party can literally run things off of potato because we've mastered the art of our own technology, like why? And we're only gonna do that for 30%? Nah, nah. So I listen. The Switch 2 will be a more powerful Switch, I believe. Okay, and then maybe to just give a little bit of a chance to really sell more things or to attract gamers that may want a little bit more performance. Maybe they do something like a dock that you plug into and it gives you more performance. I think that makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, they are in a market where the competitors are so far behind. It makes no sense to leave that market or to put that market, or to make investments towards things that don't help you in that market. Simply to go and compete in a market where you already have a titan like PlayStation or a fairly well balanced competitor as far as the hardware is concerned in Xbox. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. All right. Hey, Jada, what do you think about this? Right. When you see the temperature, um,
Mm-hmm.
in the room, okay. Obviously, PlayStation's not coming for a while. Xbox is really in the trash, right? Do you think
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo will take this as an opportunity to kind of like, maybe what Extreme said? Still come out with a handheld the Switch, but now they're thinking, you know what? Maybe the dock they could do something more, right? So now when you dock it, it's more than just an alternate power supply and then connect to
No.
the TV. Maybe it's something that will provide a boost in performance and stuff like that. With NVIDIA technology, with DLSS, things like that. So now, you get a better next generation product that people could be like, all right, um, you know, so something that's more than just, all right, I'm connecting to TV and I'm playing the Switch game on TV. Now it's like, okay, if
Mm-hmm.
I connect to the TV, I get more of a better improved console tech experience and stuff like that, right?
Nope.
No, you don't
Nope.
think that you think Nintendo's like,
Nope.
nah, fuck that.
Nah. The CEO came out and said that. He
Well,
said they have no stomach and no will to want to compete with Nintendo, I mean with Sony and Microsoft for the high-end console gaming. They just want to stay in their lane and make great experiences for their audience, and that's it. The best you're gonna get, right, is with this Switch 2 is a little bit more power, and that's about it. I don't know if you saw Puerto Rock. I know the article that you just read, but Nintendo followed that up, according to Genki of Japan. Nintendo plans to strengthen relationships with third-party publishers as part of its structural changes surrounding its video game business. And they released a slide that showed Microsoft, Nexon, Sega, Ubisoft, CQ, Konami, WB, From Software, Electronic Arts, Cygames, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, and quite a few others. I put it in our DM, in our group DM, so if you want to, you can show
okay.
people. But the new ones on that list I see is From Software and Microsoft. Uh, and Microsoft, obviously, this is their foray. This is their push into being a third party publisher. And From Software, so we can assume Elden Ring is going to be ported over to the Switch too. So this is the best you're going to get. You're going to get more third party ports than you got before, but they would get shellacked. They don't want to, like, I don't think Nintendo wants to be in the third place of like Microsoft, like third place of anything, or even second place. They want to be first place in the handheld space because they're good at it. They sell a ton of copies. It doesn't require a bunch of money. It allows them to keep, look at the games that they make. Um, I mean, how much you think it costs Zelda to be made, right? If Spider-Man cost 300 million, Zelda maybe what, 20 million? Maybe 30. Nintendo just don't make games where it just, there's no motion capture, there's no voice acting, there's none of the stuff that it would require to spend a bunch of money. And they get by with that, and they're okay with that. Now they'll give you a little bit more powerful handheld where you can get your Call of Duties, your games run a little bit better. The third party can put it, but other than that, that's it. I don't see them wanting to jump back in that space at all. I think the Switch will do good enough for what they wanted to do. If you want to dock it, you can dock it. If you just want it as a portable, and keep in mind that space that they would be jumping into would fall in line with the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Legion Go, and the rest of those things. And if Microsoft decided to, throw their hat into that handheld type space, you'll have to worry about that as well. I just don't think that they got the stomach for it.
I will say
But
this:
that,
if they try to step into that world, right? They
Mhm.
now are, and I get some of the Nintendo gamers, they want Nintendo to create a decent, powerful system so they could get these third parties, and we're talking about the third parties
Mhm.
that are the AAA bigger titles that they usually
Yeah.
skip on because the hardware is just not there, right? But
Mhm.
here's the thing, and I'll say this to Nintendo gamers: you don't know what you're asking for, because understand this: if Nintendo creates, let's say, a competent hardware, like even as if it's Xbox Series S type hardware, like more powerful hardware to get the third parties, that
Mhm.
means you have to raise the standard for the first party, right? Because Nintendo can't get all these amazing games that are third party, graphical looking games, but yet your third party is your first party is on the low end. That means Nintendo has to step up their game and make these graphical masterpieces. Now, here's the problem: that costs money.
Mhm.
Making these powerful, people think that these games you could do it for like $10 million, $20 million. Oh, you're gonna invest some money. So Nintendo will start pushing the 100 million, $150 million budgets and stuff like that, right? And the one thing Nintendo
Yeah.
prides itself is releasing stuff where they make huge margins on profit. That's why Nintendo makes the more profit, because they spend they keep the cost of creating stuff very low, so that way when they do sell something for, let's say, like, the Switch was $300, the profit margin is huge because the thing's not that expensive
Mhm.
to begin with. They make a lot of money off the games because they sell a lot, but also the amount of money they spend to create a game, right, is not the same as what Sony spends to create a game. They're not spending $300 million on any Mario or Zelda. Zelda Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild wasn't a 300 million game. It wasn't. They didn't spend that much, right? Nowhere
Mhm.
near. I would be surprised. Like, chat, let me know. Was there any conversation how much money they spent on Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom? Like, how much development cost was that, or how much the Mario games cost and stuff like that, right? So you make a game that say like that's 100 million, but you sell 20, 30 million copies. That is huge profit margins that you made. Hell,
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom was $70, right?
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom $70. Was Tears of the Kingdom a $300 million budget game?
Nope.
Probably not. Not saying that it needs to be, but what I'm saying is Nintendo's very price conscious, or very, how would you say, conscious of how much they spend on stuff, right? Because they try to get a good balance of how much they're gonna spend so they can make those huge profit margins, stuff like that. Mario Kart, probably what, the biggest selling first party game they got. It's like
Mhm.
60 million, right? And they definitely didn't spend 300-400 million on that game, not even close, right? But
Yeah.
they made such a huge, insane amount of profit off that game and stuff like that. And
Zelda
yeah, and
Zelda
since
Breath of the
what?
Wild, 80 million.
Look at that, 80 million.
Yeah.
80 million to make Breath of the Wild. And look how many copies
Mhm.
that game sold. Let's see if they have it.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild sold 32 million units at $60.
Mhm.
I think the cheapest I ever seen the game was like $40. And that's like after 3 years or something. So that
Yeah.
huge profit margin, right? If they create powerful hardware, right? So now you got to start making spec up, beautiful looking games that are up to that level.
Mm-hmm.
That's money. You're not gonna get the same profit margins, right? Sure,
Yeah.
Zelda will still sell 30 million, 40 million, but you put so much money into that game, your profit margin shrunk because of the initial investment, right? So I think Nintendo's gonna stick with what worked, because the reality is Nintendo conditioned the industry to not expect the best looking games anymore. Those days are over. Those were the days of the Super NES. Those were the days of the N64 and the GameCube. Once they released the Wii, that's it. They already got us used to not expecting Nintendo to be the big graphical showpieces that Nintendo used to be when it had the Super NES, when it was the N64, when it was the GameCube. Those days are over. They completely removed that expectation. Don't expect Nintendo to come out with these graphical AAA showpieces. Expect great games that look good or whatever, but enjoy the fun, enjoy the gameplay. And Nintendo fan base is used to that. So I don't really see Nintendo with the Switch 2 trying to get into this high-tech, high-end, 4K, 60 frames, ray tracing, all this nonsense. I don't think Nintendo even wants to deal with that. I don't think Nintendo first party even wants to even begin to deal with ray tracing. They're like, hell, I would be like, hell no, I'm not dealing with that. Trying to get a yeah. I don't think they even care. They're not trying to introduce that to its audience, like ray tracing. Like no.
Or voice acting, like all those things. Because as soon as you up the graphics,
we're not even getting that.
People are gonna have exactly other expectations. Exactly.
Do they even do that? Do they even do mocap yet? They don't even do that.
Nope. They don't have it. They don't have any games that need mocap, right?
It's all cartoon characters. Right? Does Nintendo even have mocap or anything like that?
Like, if they don't do voice acting, they're not going to do mocap. Let's face it. There's levels to this. We have voice acting way before we have mocap.
That's a great point. They're not even doing that.
What IP
Let's face it, they barely do
have human characters? They don't make games with human characters, so why would they need to do motion capture?
Yeah.
Listen, they barely even do cutscenes, so let's just leave it at that. So why would they beat your mocap? What, 30 seconds of a scene?
Mario definitely has mocap. Chuck Neds, this guy's trolling. Like, we fucking Mario Kart. Mario has a mocap. Yo, these dudes are bugging. But that's a good point. So what would be the technology going towards too? Right?
Yeah.
I think Nintendo.
And again, as soon as you start competing at a certain power performance, people are now going to be like, okay, let's say that Nintendo came out with a game that was 4K 60, okay? And it was a gorgeous looking game, looked like freaking Breath of the Wild, art style, but like the fidelity of like a Horizon World or whatever. Like, people are going to start to expect the things that other things they've seen look like that give them. People are now going to start to expect things like voice acting and everything like that. And I'm just like, yeah, no, take a look at a company that is, also in the same vein that people make excuses for, Atlas. They recently came out with Metaphor ReFantazio, and they hardly ever voice act any of their scenes. Like, they have a lot of dialogue, and they've got barely any voice acting, and people go for it. People like it. So they themselves are never going to go and give people more than what they expect. So yeah, I don't see Nintendo doing that.
No. Well, thanks for the link, J-Dub. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. So I guess during this investor meeting, they showed Nintendo wants to strengthening their relationships with software publishers, and of course you see Microsoft right there.
Yep.
Right there. So of course, they want to strengthen the relationship, get them games, get that man. You're ahead of the curve, man. Where's PlayStation at? I don't see Sony on there. I thought they were going third party. I thought Horizon was the beginning of all this stuff. Like, who the fuck is Hamster? Like, who the hell is that? But anyway. You know what I'm saying? I see Microsoft, so hey, everybody try to say, oh, Sony's going to do the same thing. All right. Where they at? I don't see them in there, right?
I'm looking for
man. Hey, Can't see you, buddy.
You know
Stuff
what?
like
You
that.
know what? They're only 15% of From Software, so that's probably how.
Oh,
And
there
only
you
like
go.
10%
Oh,
of
you know
Epic
what?
Games. There it
Good
is. They're
call.
sneakily doing it.
Good
They're
call.
sneaky.
Good call.
You
Good
know,
call.
under the table. I see
Oh,
it.
good
They can't
call.
get away from us.
Good
They
call.
can't get away
Good
from
call.
us.
Yep.
Who else do they have an
That's it.
investment in?
That's all Epic. Don't they
Strike
have
it.
like? Don't Epic? They
Yeah,
invest,
Epic
they-
and From Software.
Oh man, there you go. There you
Who
go.
else?
They
Who
got
else?
Sony.
Who else? Oh,
They-
they're basically the Square Enix is basically first party anyway.
Oh
so,
shit.
You know,
That's they got a oh shit, but that's interesting, right? You know, I'm gonna try to find that, investors to see what they say, right? Because the one thing I learned is none of these guys tell the whole truth, right? Because I think you guys seen on my channel, that there are times I do like an investors brief, and they never explain the whole truth. So, you know what? I'm gonna look for the Nintendo one, see what's going on. I want to see what is really said there, right? Sometimes they only put what they only want to be talked about and stuff like that, right? But I thought that's interesting, right? So Nintendo's gonna announce their Switch 2, maybe January, February, right? If they plan to release it by March or April, it's gonna be interesting what they actually do. Like if it's just a souped up Switch 2, a more powerful Switch 2, but not that powerful, it'll be successful.
Oh, they did say this, Porter Rock,
hands up.
in that article, in the Nintendo said that their games are going to be backwards compatible. You'll be able to play your Switch games.
It
there,
better
so,
be.
yeah.
That would be crazy if
better
they
be.
said, nah, you gotta start over. Oh, that should
It
be.
better
But
be.
you know what? Knowing these dudes, they wouldn't have said shit.
Yeah.
They would have been like, they wouldn't have said shit. They would have
Yeah.
let Nintendo get away with
They
it.
would
But
have
it
told
makes
you that
sense,
no one
though.
plays backwards games anyway.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They, but good for them because they'll probably use the same cartridge slot.
Yo,
And
Podor,
obviously the digital games.
Podor, screw what they are going to do. Here's the question. What do they need to do to make you a Switch customer with the Switch
me?
2? You.
Me?
Fuck everyone else. You.
Okay, me. I just want like when it's docked, it's just not the handheld docked. Like give me like what you said. Like even if it's separate. Let's say they sell the Switch, right? Whatever, and separately, or even if they sell the Switch and the dock that comes with the Switch is just pretty much
It's
what
the
they
base
have now.
one. The base
It's a
one.
base
Yeah.
one. But as a separate attachment, they have the super
Pro
dock.
dock.
The Pro dock. If you want
Yeah.
more powerful hardware, you have to buy it separately. I will definitely do that.
What would they need to
that.
do for you to be like, yeah, this
I'll
is
do
worth
it.
it? What would the combination need to do? Once you put it to the Pro dock, what are you expecting?
I'll be happy with like maybe Xbox Series S level hardware, stuff like that.
So 460p.
Yeah, like
frames.
12, 64, I mean 40. I'll be happy with 1440p 60. It doesn't even have to be 4K. 1440p.
The Series S can't touch that, but sure.
Okay, I know, right? But I'll be happy. But I will say this: they use NVIDIA, so let's say like internal resolution is 800p, but with DLSS, 1440p.
Yeah,
like
that
works. I'll
works.
take that. I'll take 1440p DLSS. I wouldn't
What
be
game?
mad at it.
What game sells you? What game?
Oh, Metro Prime 4.
Okay.
Metro
There you
Prime
go.
4. You know what I'm saying? Metro Prime 4. I would definitely love that. A buff like that. I would definitely love if some of the games on the Switch got, Switch 2 enhancements, like Bayonetta and stuff like that. So now again, DLSS, upweight. So now you're playing these games at 60 frames at 1440p, better resolution, better image quality. Like for me, Switch 2, 1440p. Don't even go with the 4K. DLSS, 1440p, 60 frames. You got me. I'm happy with that. Because the best console is clearly the PS5 Pro, so I got that. Nintendo, just give me a better Nintendo experience, not this 576p bullshit. Like, man, come on, stop this bullshit. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. But 1440p, even if it's DLSS 1440p, I'm good. I'll buy it day one. Got me.
What about you, J-Dub?
And if the dock is separate to where now everything costs $700, fuck it. Then it's $700. I'll buy the PS5 and I'll buy the Pro dock separately because that's what I want. And I'll be happy.
So you're saying that the Switch 2 plus the Pro dock will be a total of $700?
Yeah, let's say that. Let's say like the Switch 2 is like $400, right?
Yeah.
With the base dock. But they say if you want the Pro dock, it costs an extra $250 or $300.
Yeah.
I'll buy both.
No,
and end up paying $700. And people be like, oh, you're paying $700 for 1440p. Shut the fuck up. Right?
Yeah.
Stop pocket watching. Like, golly. Stop worrying about it. Y'all weren't there when I bought my house, so shut up.
Right.
You know? Yes, I'll pay $700 for a 1440p DLSS Switch handheld too. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have no issues.
All right.
And I'll be good.
There we go. What about you, J-Dub? We know you're gonna get it anyway because that's who you are. But
that's what he does.
What would they need? What would they need to do if they were like to sell you on it?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they
to not talk shit. Or to not talk shit. Because you'll buy it anyway. But what will prevent you from talking shit? That you'll leave these Nintendo fanboys alone.
As good as the Switch is and what it does, it's still a very basic. I mean, I agree with this. Nintendo still hadn't caught up with the times, and like the guy said, they don't have the stomach to. It's going to cost a shitload of money to have to get better graphics, to do ray tracing, to do motion capture, to do voice acting. All of that stuff is just, they would have to just compel me with all of that stuff, and they're not going to do that. But they'll make something that's fun, and I guess at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
I mean, yeah.
Is that it's fun. They make games that's fun on hardware that's cheap, for most kids and stuff like that, and for those special adults, it's fine. They don't need all that stuff. But then, if you want the mature, not only just mature games, but mature hardware, and you're in it for the graphics and the audio that just reel you in, the high end, I'm gonna call it the upper echelon of gaming. It is what it is. You can't have that on Nintendo. Nintendo used to be able to have that on Nintendo. Nintendo used to go the extra mile and make sure they had the best hardware and the mature games and the advanced, all this stuff to compete. I think what was it? Puerto Rock, I think was the PS3, what generation was the GameCube?
It was during the
Because
PS2.
that was the last, the PS doing it. I think that PS2 era when they came out the GameCube, that did it for them. They saw the trajectory that all this stuff was going out. They were like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna keep sinking billions
the
of
GameCube
dollars.
was weird, right? I think they just refuse to standardize along with the industry. Like they always had that problem. Like they always went to drum the walk with the beat to their own drum.
The beat their own,
right? Yeah. Like DVD was the standard, but they said, nah, we're gonna create this format specifically for the GameCube, and they created this purple.
They didn't want to pay the license fee. They didn't want to pay the license fee to Sony for that stuff.
Yeah, they created this easy bake oven looking thing. And it was like, what the hell? And they created this weird controller, right?
Yep.
And ultimately, GameCube didn't sell too well and stuff. So then they redid everything, and they went with this Wii strategy, and it was successful, but it wasn't sustainable for the next generation. So they knew that this was a one-shot, flash in a pan type product, and that majority of the people that bought the Wii are not going to come back. So they tried the Wii U. They say, all right, let's get back to AAA gaming. But then they kind of messed it up with this Wii U shit. That was weird. And then they just finally said, you know what? Let's just go to our true strength, which is mobile, because they never had a problem with mobile. They were always the mobile beast. They always dominated the mobile market. Always. Since the Game Boy. They never let that up. That's been their most consistent industry. The game
they've had more handheld competition than they've had console competition, and they destroyed all of the competition
easily. Even when people thought that the phones would kill Nintendo handhelds, not even close. They just can't mess with that, right? It's gonna be interesting, right? So probably hear more about Nintendo after the holidays, because right now they're just gonna focus on selling their Switch. You think Nintendo's gonna do price drops, or you think they're still gonna sell that thing at $300?
It'll still be $300.
Golly, they talk about PlayStation.
They don't do price drops.
This shit is 7 years old.
Yep.
Yo, this is wild.
Drops.
This is wild, man. The Switch is 7 years old. And they didn't do. Wow, man, that's crazy, man. But all right, we'll see and stuff like that. Let me do this last topic. So Metacritic responds after Dragon Age. So I don't know if you guys were up on Dragon Age Veilguard, but you know how this game started out. Once again, you know, the grifters, anti-woke, you know, they're already, you know, destroying, trashing the game. But according to the article, it says review aggregation site Metacritic has spoken out in response to the ongoing review bombing of Dragon Age: The Veilguard by online commentators upset at the game's inclusive characters and themes. BioWare's latest Dragon Age epic holds a generally favorable review average of 84 on Metacritic based on a consensus of 54 critic scores. But the game's Metacritic user scores listed as just 3.8 out of 10, with a majority of users' opinions falling in the starkly negative range. Looking at some of the most recent reviews at the time of writing, these include numerous scores of 0 out of 10 for content in the game repeatedly described as woke. Here we go. Awful dialogue and obviously some woke agenda psyop. Reads a 0 out of 10 review from one user. This is censorship at its worst. Woke killed the game. Write another user who rated the game with 0, but gameplay is nice. Oh, unbelievable. This is what happens when you try to force DEI and sexual ideology in a fantasy game. Like, what the hell? Like, you know how many... Didn't Dragon Age have that from the get-go?
Yep.
Yep.
That means it was the
It's
first
one of the
one.
most leftist, most woke things.
Yeah, like
according to them ever.
Mass Effect. Yeah. I mean, hell, both this
game.
BioWare
has always been super left-leaning.
Don't they have bestiality in Baldur's Gate? Like they
don't complain about that.
They're having sex with a bear. Like a bear is wearing out somebody's a-hole. A bear. Literally bestiality. Yo, and sexuality in fantasy game wrote a third who also scored the game a 0. Countless other examples are also visible, some of which include slurs and abuse we won't reproduce here. A number of commentators note that they are leaving repeat responses as their earlier ratings have been deleted, presumably by Metacritic moderators. By contrast, the 13,000 user reviews for Dragon Age: The Veilguard currently on Steam, which requires you to actually play the game before leaving a review, are mostly positive. Dragon Age: The Veilguard features a companion character who identifies as non-binary, who the game's protagonist Rook can be supportive of. Rook themselves can also identify as a transgender if the player chooses. In a statement of Eurogamer acknowledging the backlash to Dragon Age: The Veilguard, on its site, a spokesman for Metacritic parent company Fandom said its site was a place of belonging for all fans. We take online trust and safety very seriously across all our sites, including Metacritic. The spokesman said, Metacritic has a moderation system in place to track violations of our terms of service. Our team reviews each and every report of abuse, including but not limited to racist, sexist, homophobic, insults to other users, etc. And if violation occurs, reviews are removed. Last year, Fandom confirmed to Eurogamer it was evolving its process and tools to introduce stricter moderation, following similar reactions to Horizon Forbidden DLC Burning Shores. It is the strongest and loudest answer BioWare could have mustered for the people still doubting whether it could do it. Alberti wrote in Eurogamer's Dragon Age Veilguard review. The answer is yes. Empathetically, the Veilguard is spectacular. BioWare is back. I'm going to be honest. If you can't verify the people played the game, then your user reviews is useless. Why have
it? Absolutely.
It doesn't mean anything. Somebody created a review giving 0 out of 10 to Forza Horizon using my name. Like, bro, I hate racing games so bad, I won't even put in the energy to give it a 0 out of 10. Like, it doesn't rate it. Racing games don't deserve a 0 out of 10 for me. You don't deserve me commenting. All right, I'm gonna let you know that now. People, Preorders and Fanboy gave Forza Horizon 5 0 out of 10. Bro, it doesn't deserve to me comment on it. Like, what are you talking about? Everybody knows you don't get 5 seconds of my life to me acknowledge you exist on the website. You are out your mind if you think I'm gonna create an account to talk about Forza Horizon. No, racing games suck so bad, you don't deserve to get a 0 from me. If you get a 0 out of 10 from me, you get more than what you deserve. So sorry.
Yeah.
No racing game's gonna get a review out of me. You out your goddamn mind. You think I'm gonna put in energy to complain about a game. All right? Racing games are so bad, you don't even deserve criticism. You don't even get that. You get no criticism from me. Because you're too dog shit. I know J-Dub is like, Puerto Rock, you're going too far. You're going to be saying? But like, what good is a user review when you can even create fake accounts? You know, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people with like 100 Metacritic account just ready for view bomb.
Mhm.
And all they gotta do,
Of
log on,
course.
Absolutely.
0, log on,
Of
0,
course.
log on, 0, log on, 0. Drop 100 zeros
Yep.
from one person. So Metacritic, why the fuck do you have user reviews? It's pointless for you.
Mm-hmm.
Steam actually has a system. Oh, we saw you didn't buy the game. We saw you didn't play it. Nope, sorry, you can't leave a review. Sorry. What do you guys think
Yep.
about this shit?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you said. It's just there's these new grifters that just started, and it's a lot of content. It's a lot of money that they make off of it. They're gonna ride it until it dries up and people move on. The great thing about it is not every game that they call woke or DEI, whatever, and they run that campaign against it. They're not successful a lot of times. They are some, but majority of the times they're not. But we saw this
Mm,
started with Hogwarts Legacy, right? The
mm-hmm.
controversy behind that, and we've seen it recently in Baldur's Gate. That really didn't change anything, and now this game here, it seems like people still buying it and playing it and enjoying it. So, again, this social media bubble is very small, so maybe that's the saving grace,
Mm,
that a lot of people don't pay attention to them. Yeah, because we're in the know and we see these guys and we know who they are. um it seems amplified, but the greater amount of gamers, they're not online like that. They're not in the know. They don't know who these guys are. They don't care. They like a great game, they give it a try, and they move forward.
mm,
So,
mm.
but yeah, it's unfortunate. I just and it's very, what do you call it, contagious, because I've seen people that regular gamers, they all of a sudden they see something from Grums or something like that, and then they were like, "Well, yeah, I'm starting to see more and more inclusion, and we can't have that." And it's I just shake my head, and I'm like, "Oh my God, here we go."
Mm.
So, yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully, these
Mm.
guys go away in 2025.
I hope
Find
so,
another
man.
grift to run off of.
Cause
Find another grift.
they're just making
All
shit
of
up.
us hope so.
Yeah, they're just making
Yeah.
stuff up. I'm like, DEI chin and all this. I'm like, yo, these guys are stupid, bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
Do you know
yo,
what
yep.
annoys? Do you know
Mm.
what? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, so the thing that really annoys me is that these people choke out the conversations that should actually be had. For example, let's bring up Concord again. All right,
Mhm.
Concord has a transgender character in it, and I thought that she was handled really, really poorly. Right, and the way that you find out she's transgender is when you look into the codex and everything. So not most people wouldn't have been able to come to that realization. But in the story of her, basically, she worked for an empire, like a shipping empire, like really rich family and everything like that. Basically, winner took it all because the grandfather was about to retire. And basically, she was born as a male, and all of her other cousins did like things to impress the grandfather, but she went to work. She started at the base level as a janitor, and then she basically touched every single part of the industry. Okay, so at some point she decided that she was going to transition into a female, and then basically the grandfather was like, "Yeah, that's cool and all, and you are my top candidate, but only men can be at the top of this family empire," and that's basically the
Mhm.
entire story. The thing that annoys me about that is that that's a really poor way to tell that story because you don't need that character to be transgender at all. You could have just made the character female from the beginning, and you don't have the time to explain the complex things that go on and that might happen with someone where they might say like, hey, I'm non-binary, hey, I'm transgender, hey, I'm this other thing that is not their normative for whatever world or universe they are in. You need to actually take the time to be able to tell those kind of stories because they are complex stories, because they are dynamic stories, because they are hard stories to tell, especially in the political climate that we are in. But the thing is, Concord and Dragon Age the Veilguard, they simply drop these characters in there without ever giving them the proper time to actually tell the story from their side. Like I saw the way that Dragon Age Veilguard handles this whole non-binary character, and it looks more like a sitcom than an actual serious moment. Because
Mhm.
again, it's like, does this character actually need to be non-binary, or did you just have a checklist And so you added that non-binary character in there. And by the way, I am like one of the most left-leaning people that you can go. Like, listen, I lean all the way to the left, okay? But the thing is this: you are not going to simply tell a story right if you simply just have it in there and you throw it in and you're like, oh, we checked this box. If you're going to tell these kind of stories, these kind of mature stories, you need a whole lot of time in order to be able to tell those stories. You know, you take a look at other games that tell these kinds of stories, and you take a look at the Life is Strange games, and it have way more time and way more care, you know, and way more dedication to the subject matter that they want to tackle in a mature and respectful way. They're not just forcing it down your throat. And I feel like the bad thing with this is that we can have this conversation when everyone is just shouting at, oh, anything that is inclusive or anyone is woke, is DEI, is this or that. There is good and bad handling of minorities. There's good and bad handling of diversity. You know, like you take a look at a lot of Asian games. What they do in order to make the character seem diverse is that they create an Asian looking model and then they just shade her black. And they're like, yeah, there we go. There's a black person. I think
Yeah.
that is poor handling of black people.
Yeah.
Like they have
Yeah.
like like you take a look at the Metaphor of Fantasia. I took a look at the black characters in there, and they are just Asian characters or white characters shaded black. You know, they
Yeah.
have no black hair. They have no, you know, the only black feature that they give them is like bigger lips. And then like, well, there you go.
Hmm.
Your niggas have big lips. We got
Oh
that
man.
right. You know,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I think that is a poor handling of diversity from that perspective. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like just because something exists in a universe doesn't mean it's handled well. But you can't have this conversation because as soon as you say like, hey, this actually was a bad example of, you know, handling a transgender story, people are like, well, you're one of those woke DI people. You know, you're
Mm-hmm.
one of them. You don't want any diversity. It's like, no, I want diversity. I just want it to be done well. Or if you don't have the space to do it well, if your game isn't about the transgender progression of this character, don't put it in there. If you don't have the space to do it, don't do it. You know, and that is basically a thing that I wish our industry would get to. I will always defend the artist's right to put whatever they want in the game, but I also think that people have the right to say like, hey, this isn't well handled. And unfortunately, like I said, those conversations cannot be had when we have the other side of of people just grifting on the internet and making the entire conversation way too toxic for any nuance to happen.
Yeah.
Good point. Um, I think I remember a long time ago you brought up a good point that gaming is still not at the maturity level of movies and books.
Yeah.
I always remember that. That was like one of the first few episodes of 64 when you first showed up. I remember you
Yeah.
mentioned that gaming as an entertainment is still in infancy because a lot of stuff is being addressed now. Movies been done that. It's in
Mhm.
music and in books, but
And so much better.
yeah, and they do it so much better, and they push the boundaries way past what
Yeah,
gaming is done, right? But right
yeah,
now, when you try to apply it to gaming, it's just the maturity level is just not there yet. It's just for
and,
whatever reason,
yeah.
it's still an
And it
issue in
drops,
games.
isn't it? That's the thing that annoys me. It's like people that would watch something like Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones, where there's like heaps of like homosexuality. You know, there's heaps of like things that will be normally considered taboo or mature subjects, right? But even just like what is it, sexual exposure and things like that. Like they can handle that in that medium in that format, and then those very same people will turn to something like The Last of Us Part 2 and be like, oh my god, Ellie's gay? It's like, yeah, Ellie's gay. Why did they do that? It's like, but she's been gay the entire time. Like, you played the first game, she was gay then. And it's like, no, oh my god, no, this cannot happen. And it's like, no. Like, for movies and for books and for TV, you are used to seeing subject matter that might be challenging to you, that might be more mature, that might be a conversation starter, that might even be taboo to you. But you understand that those mediums regularly dabble in those kinds of things. But when it comes to gaming, it's like you lose all of your brain cells and you just want to be like, oh, all of this makes the game bad, even if it's a very small section of the game.
Mm, yeah, I know. So
Yeah.
I've seen like I try to see podcasts, but after a while, I'm like, I don't want to listen to it, right? They try to justify this whole attack on Dragon Age, but they try to no, it's really the writing. Oh my god, this is terrible writing. And I'm thinking, and as I'm listening to it, you end up figuring out they didn't even play the game. And I'm like, wait a minute, because here's the thing: if you look at a game for your own personal choice, and you be like, nah, this game don't look appealing, it sucks, garbage. That's really you just not. It's not appealing to you. But when you start to have conversations on the details of the game, that means you played it. There's a difference between saying, this game looks shitty, I'm not getting it. That's just your initial impression, whatever, right? And then maybe whatever. Absolutely. But when you speak on the details, like especially like writing, okay, so you played, most likely beat the game, you experienced the writing, the dialogue choices, and there's probably like even more choices where you could do multiple playthroughs and have different dialogues. But at least you played the game once. And you can say, me playing through the game once and the dialogue experience, it sucks. But when I start hearing that they ultimately didn't play the game, then how the fuck do you know the dialogue sucks? You didn't do anything. You didn't play it.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't live in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's what you would call it? It's gaslighting, trying to cover the reality. It's anti-woke, stupid, bigotry. But no. It's bad writing. Bro, you didn't play the game. So you can't say that. Like, if you would have played the game and you played the game fully, all right, got it. But most of these complaints about Dragon Age was already being done before the game was released, which means nobody could have an opinion on the writing because the game wasn't out yet. And now the game just come out, and there's people who say, oh, yeah, because it's a bad writing. Oh, so you played it? Oh, no, I didn't really play it. I saw it on Twitch. Oh, get out of here. Yeah. These Twitch gamers are annoying, bro. Like, they're so goddamn annoying, bro. Like, so goddamn annoying. They're the worst type of gamers ever, bro. Like, I understand if you enjoy watching streamers, then just stay there. If anything, the topic stream gamers should be talking about is who's the best streamer. That's your gaming conversation. Oh, this streamer is more entertaining than this streamer because blah, blah, blah. That's what you need to talk about. But don't come talk to the people that want to play a game and actually play the game and try to have a conversation with them. You didn't play it. Like, what are you talking about? It would be like, somebody recommending a book to Extreme and Extreme's like, man, I'm sorry to hear you didn't enjoy the book. Oh, I didn't read it. Then why the fuck are you telling me that for me not to read it? Like, are you out your goddamn mind? That's not how it works. That's not, if you read the book, right? Then okay, give me your opinion. Why would you recommend me not reading it? Oh, it's because, the story, whatever, the format, blah, blah, blah. That's what I got of it when I read it. You're like, oh, okay, those are the good things to consider. But come to find out, you only read like the back. Like, shut up.
Exactly.
Like, you only read the back of the book.
Yeah, like, don't recommend shit to anybody. Like, you never read it. So why are you worried about somebody else wants to try to read it when you yourself didn't do it? Oh, man,
exactly. And that's what I mean by
it's
people
annoying.
are shutting down the conversation, because at the end of the day, we should all be able to have different opinions about the things that we see in the media that we enjoy, right? Yeah. Like I saw Hero Down Under was like, he doesn't mind those kind of topics like homosexuality or whatever in games, but he just doesn't want to be preached to. And I think that there is a fair, balanced perspective. You have to have a moment where I think even with the most with any subject matter, no matter how reasonable it may seem to a person. So, for example, me as a black person, I think that it is super reasonable to say basically racism is bad. But I don't want a game that is like 100% about preaching that, racism is bad. Because it's like, well, if you have to preach it that much, what exactly does your game need for you to need to say this over and over again to the person? And you also have to respect the intelligence of the people on the other side. If you put a message in a game, chances are, experiencing the game, I understood what your message was. Whether or not I agree with it, I at least understood what you were trying to say. So you preaching it over and over isn't necessary. That's not respecting your audience, because we are not children, especially when we're talking about mature subjects that are made for adults, are made for more mature people. So we are not children, so we can understand what the message is. For example, let's say that the transgender nature of a particular character is really well handled in the game. I can understand what you're trying to say. I don't have to agree with anything that you're trying to support. I don't have to agree with any policies, and I don't have to translate that into like a real life thing. I don't have to suddenly be like, oh yeah, let's make everyone transgender now, you know. But I can at least understand it. And again, I feel like because let's face it, on average, the writing in games is really like barely above average in most games, you know, and then the audience is usually quite immature compared to other mediums. I feel like there is a lot of nuance and there's a lot of training and coaching of one another that we have to do. Writers in games have to be better at handling difficult stories, and readers have to be more welcoming of the fact that certain writers are going to try to do that. And that's okay. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I'm sure doesn't have a transgender character. Or if they do, it's not like a big focus of the story at all, and you could easily miss it. Those games are still going to exist where you just want to go in, you want to shoot people, you want to kill the bad guys, and you want to be the hero that literally walks away from the explosion without looking back. Those games are always going to exist, and they should exist because they are fun to play and are fun to have. Not every single game should challenge you about your morals or your ethics or try to teach you a lesson, you know. Other games are going to be on the other end, and they're going to be about like community and love and ethics and principles and the meaning of right and wrong. And, you know, they're going to be a FedEx simulator in Death Stranding. But, you know, the thing is, I want all of the spectrum to be good. And when a particular part isn't good, I want us to be able to actually have a nuanced discussion about it without having to be lumped in with the people that are just making the most amount of noise on Twitter.
Mm. Mm. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I think we hit all the topics, you know, for the show, unless you guys have something y'all want to address. Any takers?
I don't actually think I have anything this week.
Not really, man. Just ready.
Just
ready
Thursday. We just wait for Thursday though. Team Pro. Yep. Yo, I'm excited. Come hell or high water.
You guys from the sideline.
Yo, I'm just saying. Listen. And Thursday starts my 4-day weekend because of Veterans Day.
Ooh.
You know, so I'm gonna pick up my pro, and the next 4 days, you know, I'm gonna try to get off work early. Swear to God, if I see Junior Marines in Costco, I'm gonna be like, hold up, who let you out of work? Get your ass back to work. Put that goddamn pro down. Put it down, devil. Direct order.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! Now we're gonna see, man. Hey, man. Oh, but anyway, hey, this is the end of the show. I want to say thank you everybody for rocking out. Thank you for. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you to the panel for enjoying, for coming through and stuff like that. One more super chat before we go. We got John Baptiste. Thank you for the $10 super chat, my brother. He said, as soon as they released the Nintendo OLED model, they pulled the launch model and the V2 models off the shelf in retail stores. So now the only models available are the OLED and the Switch Lite model. Is that true? The regular Switch is not there no more? It's just the OLED and the Switch? I don't know. I
never seen anything about that.
I didn't pay attention, but I wouldn't doubt it. I just, I to be honest, I didn't really pay attention to what Nintendo does like that. Like,
yeah, same here.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, John. But I don't know. That's them. Yeah. It is what it is, right? It's gonna be interesting, bro. It's gonna be interesting when I see John and stuff like that. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. Right, but everybody else, hey, let's do our outros. Extreme, you have a new video up?
I have the new video up. What is it? A day or two ago. So you guys can go and check that one out. What do you even talk about? I don't even know what I talked about in there. But I think actually it was a response to Kid Smooth video.
Yes, that's true.
That's
I
the
remember.
one. That was hilarious.
First, I gotta see Kid Smooth's first, and then I gotta see yours.
There you go. There you go.
All right, my brother.
I love so hard that I didn't even bring half of the energy to the video because it was hilarious. And he's got a part 2 now. So you know what? Go and watch Kids. That's my outro. Go and watch Kid Smooth's channel. The last 2 or 3 videos, you're going to really enjoy them because this is a man that is, like he already got the side chick, but he's pretending to be faithful. That's the struggle is entertaining to see. And then if you want to hear my comments about it, you can come to my channel and we'll discuss his little existential crisis that he's going through. But hey, Kid Smooth, great content creator. Go ahead. watch his videos, give him that support because he's getting that PlayStation 5 Pro day one, but he's convincing you that you don't need it.
But he got it. All right.
Yeah, he
All
got
right,
it.
brother. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by, my brother. All right, J-Dub, antagonizer in chief.
Yes, sir.
Man, all right, brother.
Listen,
Yo,
I
give your
ain't
outro,
got
man.
nothing to say. Y'all know where to find me, man. Check me out tomorrow. Actually, just check me out tomorrow. The embargo, I think, is up on the PlayStation. I think people can start sharing footage and reviews and stuff like that tomorrow. So it's gonna be interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
and shout out to Australians. You're gonna get it first, okay? Because we are OG the 6th over here. So y'all people put them on Twitter first. Let them hear your voices.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, do it before J-Dub because he's gonna be pissed at you. Oh, I wish I was getting the point now. I wish I could do that unboxing video before J-Dub does and just act on it. Be
No,
like, hey,
I
hey.
don't do unboxings, and I'm gonna tell you why. Other people do it, and they do it way better than what I can. I don't have the patience for it. I'm like,
Oh, I
listen,
couldn't do an unboxing. I
I
was
want
just
to
gonna show you
play.
the thing on my entertainment center. I was just gonna be like, hey,
Yeah,
J-Dub, time zones matter.
yeah. So some people they do the whole unboxing thing just so good. It's like, dude, I don't have the energy. Go
I
ahead.
never understood the point of watching an unboxing. I swear to you, so
Yeah,
watching someone take something out of a box
yeah,
is. I understand if it's a product that you don't know what comes in the box, be able to like have a picture of like, hey, this is what is in the box. But
yeah.
actually, the physical act of watching someone remove something from a box as a
Mhm.
piece of entertainment, I don't get that, man. I don't get it.
I think so. I don't think it's actually the product because when you think about it, there's like millions of people doing unboxing. So
Yeah.
I would think it's not really the box
The
itself,
personality,
the personality,
personality.
and people want to see enjoyment from the person.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the key is whoever's doing unboxing, you demonstrate like, oh my god, look at this, oh my god, I'm happy, because people want to see
hmm
the person be happy, not
Right.
okay. Let me look at the 10th video. Yep, that's a
Mm.
controller. Yep, that's the yep, that's a console. Oh look, HDMI cable. Never seen that before. Oh, USB C. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So I don't think it's that. I think is
Hmm.
if you have a favorite content creator and you've been following them, you've been following their opinions, and now they present the boxing. I think it's the expectation of them just opening. It's like watching a kid. It's like watching your son or a child open a Christmas gift. You
yeah,
know
Yeah.
what the gift is because you bought it,
Mm.
but you want to see the response. Like, oh my god! You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I think that's really what it is. I think people enjoy seeing other people happy, and I don't mind that because you know what? I'll take that more than the bullshit that you see in other things, right? If people love seeing content where people are happy opening products, I don't see nothing wrong with that. So I don't think it's about that. I think it's more about people want to see. The only thing I will say, the only flaw is the genuine. Are some of these content creators genuine? Or like they're like, all right,
Mm.
let me do this unboxing. They probably already opened it up and played it, and then they put it back in the
Yeah.
box. And they're like, oh, and then all of a sudden the camera goes on. Oh my God, I got the, like, wait a minute, this sounds too
Yeah.
fake now. It's not,
Yeah. Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
acting classes if you're gonna try to go that route. But anyway, to the chat, this is the only first YouTube Street Preorders 77. Thank you for checking out the show. We will see you guys next. We will see everyone next week. I might make a unboxing video. Because I'm going to be genuinely happy. I'm genuinely going to be happy in this motherfucker. But anyway, check you out next week. Probably drop a video or two. But hey, for those of you who get the Pro, who is able to get the Pro on this Thursday, enjoy it. Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter, PorterRock77_. Make sure you add the underscore to it. Hit me up there. Or hit me up in the comment section. But anyway, we're out of here. You guys take care. Peace.